West. Jim West.
He has a style no one can touch.
Oh, he's so graceful.
A reputation no one can top.
He's so courageous.
And a wild side no one can tame.
Now I'm working.
Will Smith.
Nice hat.
Kevin Kline is Artemis Gordon. Kenneth Branagh and Salma Hayek. From the director of Men in Black. Wild Wild West.
Hello, welcome back to Almost Cult Classics, the podcast. My name is Joe Ramone, and with me is my friend and co-host, Ryan Lancello.
Howdy, folks.
Today we're discussing a movie that I feel dominated the public psyche in 1999, which is Wild Wild West. And if you were particularly a kid around this time, you remember this movie being so huge. Mm-hmm. At least for me, it did. It was Burger King. It was, huge marketing push. And I don't know, I remember it being everywhere.
It was ubiquitous.
Yeah.
For sure.
I haven't seen it in about 20 years.
It's been a long time.
It's been a really long time for me. But
I saw it in the theaters, from what I remember. Did you?
I went to my childhood home and I dug out some treasures to show with you on the show.
Oh, golly.
I first have my actual VHS copy of the movie, which was played lovingly. And then to show you how much I love this movie.
Got the Loveless spider.
I've got the
toy.
action figures. Jim West, who's chipping. He's actually turning black. There's like black paint that's like under him.
What is this gun?
I don't know. There's two Artemis Gordons. This is the regular Artemis Gordon.
This is thrilling radio.
The disguised. I'll post the picture you guys
the
can
bear
see.
trapper, yeah.
This was always
Or the
one of my
fur
favorites,
trapper.
though. The General Bloodbath McGrath.
Was his belly button exposed?
It was exposed,
in the movie?
yeah. And he came with the. It was like a little viewfinder that you could view little pictures from the movie.
Sure. Through the head. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, you can, too.
Point being, this movie was very big for me growing up. And I don't know when exactly I just kind of stopped, because I used to watch it all the time. And I would play with these toys and make my own adventures with them. And at a certain point...
Would you hum the song in your head?
I'd probably, yeah. I'd make them rap.
Yeah, okay.
And at a certain point, I just kind of stopped watching it, and I never went back. And it was one of those movies when we first launched this show that was always coming up. Like, we should do this movie, Mm-hmm. We wanted to talk about director Barry Sonnenfeld, which we're going to talk a lot about in this episode. But it was just, for whatever reason, I love this movie.
Now, do you think you stopped watching it because the general consensus, like when something becomes a punchline?
I don't think I even got that far.
No.
I didn't discover that this movie was loathed until like I was a teenager, probably.
I mean, it's weird. Like I kind of am in the same boat a little bit. Like it was, like I said, it was totally ubiquitous. We're seeing it everywhere. Like me and a buddy of mine were playing like Jim West and Artemis Gordon. Like I think he got.
Who were you?
I was Artemis.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin and I would play it.
I didn't mind though, because I liked, like, my favorite Ninja Turtle was Donatello. I like the smart ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This
was my introduction to Kevin Kline, this movie.
Yeah, and like, as a kid you like it. Like watching it again, like, yeah, it's an odd film.
It's an odd film. There are a few scenes that I think completely destroy any goodwill the movie was working towards, that really are detrimental to it.
I think the cast and crew would agree with you too, by the way.
And there is some shit in this movie, you can help me out as we go through the plot, that it does not make any sense. There's a few beats where I'm like, okay, as a kid,
barring
maybe
the obvious, we'll get to the giant spider, which is, it's not even that.
The whole movie is building up to that.
It's been a while, so not to cut you off, I have to get that out. But quite frankly, it's not as bad as it's made out to be. And two, it's, to me, I just watched it the other night. It's a kid's movie. In a sense that maybe a family movie is a
very
way
particular
to put it.
Time and place.
But like, dude, if you're a 10-year-old boy
in 1999,
I don't know now.
I don't know. I don't know if it would have, because Will Smith was such a big part of the 90s, and
but you're a kid is what I'm saying. Who gives a shit?
I guess. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Maybe if any of our listeners introduced their children to this, they could let us know. But
I'll put this on for a 10-year-old kid.
I went to the movies to see this.
Yeah, me too.
I actually remember
liking it.
My dad, maybe I misbehaved or something, but he was like, hey, my friend at work, their son did something bad, and they're not going to take him to see Wild Wild West. So you got to be, on your best behavior. It was just such a, and I think that's partially because of Men in Black, because Men in Black was huge.
Oh, sure.
And I think that was also, this was a 4th of July weekend movie. I think Men in Black was the same in 97, I want to say. So really not much time between it. And, when you look at Sonnenfeld's career, which we're going to go through in depth, it kind of like started ramping up. you know, and he got to this point. I shouldn't say that, though, because he did start off very strong with that Addams Family movie. There was a lot of pieces to juggle there, but this movie is just a really big undertaking. And I think a lot of the reasoning that I think Sonnenfeld would even say this movie kind of failed or didn't live up to what he hoped it would be is because of John Peters.
Maybe. I mean, it's
this movie stinks of bad studio
it does. It absolutely
decisions.
does. I mean, like if you can get into it, it's kind of a legendary Hollywood story at this point. I don't know. I'm sure it's fairly true.
I watched it last night.
I think Kevin Smith probably what's the best way to put it? Probably exaggerate. Everyone exaggerates a little.
He is a phenomenal storyteller. I have to give him credit for that. I don't know if he knew that question was coming. That's the impressive part to me, is that it's maybe his first Q&A special, An Evening with Kevin Smith. Mm-hmm. Someone asked him about his experience working on the Superman Live script, which was produced by John Peters, and he had a relationship with him where he would have to go to this guy's house and kind of read him his outline.
For those of you that don't know, John Peters, kind of a mega producer in Hollywood, started as a hairdresser, kind of
Barbra Streisand,
kind of
then
became her confidant.
They dated,
we're just kind of buddies. I guess they're still kind of friends.
He produces A Star Is Born, and that kind of gets his foot in the door with film production. It's also amazing to look at where we viewed superhero movies in the late 80s.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because John Peters was able to just get the rights to Batman and then Superman. And I think to this day, he still has a stake in Superman.
It's it's like a 7%. It's huge.
Yeah.
He's... anyway.
I think they've banned him from getting hands-on with the productions. But
very eccentric guy, very interesting guy. If you saw that movie, Licorice Pizza, Bradley Cooper is kind of based off him. So... And it's funny because Bradley Cooper
looks like him.
Had a problem with him because he had a producer credit on The New Star Is Born.
Right. It really shows you just how complicated rights can be.
It's ridiculous.
It's like Warren Beatty with his Dick Tracy rights and how he has to hold on to those.
I hope he does it till he's fucking 102.
It's going to be the case. But he...
Flat top!
John Peters, when he was talking to... And by the way, it wasn't just Kevin Smith. There was another filmmaker that had that experience with John Peters. That the notes he were giving him were so outlandish. We need because he invited him at one point to see Chasing Amy because that was his new film, and there's that gay black character, and John Peters is we need that in our movie. We need to get the sassy sidekick in our movie. But one of the things that he was really hyping up was the movie had to have a giant spider that Superman would fight towards the end of the movie, and when it was Kevin Smith, it's well, why? He was well, when I went to movies as a kid to see King Kong, that moment where it's revealed, it was so impactful. I want that in our movie. But I guess he just wanted that in any movie he was producing because even in the way it's framed in Wild Wild West, it's very grand. It's almost for sure. It starts coming up, it's
and now,
this big moment.
Here's the other thing too: his instinct isn't necessarily incorrect. As a kid, the grandiosity of it is you're whoa.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you an example. When I was, let's see here, Men in Black came out in 97. I was around 9 or 10, right? I remember seeing the commercial for it. There's that scene towards the end of the film where the roach monster has left the Queens, where the World's Fair
setting, yeah.
He's flying away. They shoot down the thing, the UFO, and it's arcing through the sky on fire, and then it crashes into the ground. And it's the two of them, and the thing is coming through them, and I was holy shit! As a kid, I'm you can do that? That's so fucking cool. That looks so cool. So there is something to be said for just putting something cool on the screen, and you're doing a big Wild Wild West spectacular. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
That said,
I was curious to what other people might have had relationship with this movie growing up, so I wanted to put it out to our supporters on Patreon and ask a few of them to chime in what they thought of the movie. And we got a couple interesting responses. Donald Anderson says he remembers he could not escape the marketing juggernaut that was this movie, which we touched on that. It was huge. Burger King, the action figures.
You couldn't get away from it.
So much.
And on that note, too, it was one of my favorite South Park episodes. It made me think of when we did that episode recently. It was Cat Orgy, where Cartman is...
He's playing Wild West with the toys. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Frog is
he's singing the song.
It's so fucking funny, man.
Nate Gonzalez says, there was always something about mixing technology with Wild West elements that scratched an itch for me as a kid, and it still gets me in adulthood. Which I do agree with. I did watch a couple episodes of the show, which I'll talk about, but I think they carried over some of that Because the show was very like James Bond with Wild Wild West and science fiction blended together.
I didn't watch any of the episodes, but it pissed me off. I kind of thought it was like a bog standard, your Western, we're going to whatever. And then I hear it's like James Bond on horseback, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, that's a great premise.
I skipped around. I watched a few from season 1, which I don't think they quite figured out what they wanted to do with it yet. But by the later episodes, and by the way, the show, the big difference is it was called The Wild Wild West. They did away with the in this title. And I'll read one more. Film Aficionado says, I enjoy the steampunk technology and some of the set pieces, but this movie never did it for me for several reasons. The humor is forced and the action is not terribly exciting. Which I tend to agree with. The humor is very weird.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's all clunkers.
And it's like, we're going to talk a little bit about a relationship between Kevin Kline and Will Smith in this movie, the straight man versus the kind of wacky character dynamic that Sonnenfeld does expertly in Men in Black. That pairing. Yeah. And you can listen to him in interviews. He always says that he had to convince Tommy Lee Jones that by playing it straight, you're being more funny, which is, it really is a very special comedy dynamic when a straight man can expertly set up the joke. And
well, I think he said it too. It's that all this
reactions,
all this craziness is happening, and you don't find it crazy. Yeah, that's the beauty of the straight man. Right, he's just there observing. What's the problem?
Yeah. So interesting, and I think as we go on, I might for our future episodes, I'll reach out to Patreon. We'll read some comments on air. I think that's a good way to kind of engage where people.
What did Mary and Steve say?
American Steve said, what is the song?
Bayamos.
Bayamos is a banger, which...
It's a catchy song. I fucking hate this song because I couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere I went. Bayamos, let the rhythm take it. Dude, aggravating.
We'll touch on the fact that, too, this movie is scored by Elmer Bernstein.
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
I was like... Wait a minute, the guy that did...
I thought the same. Then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, did they repurpose something? They didn't, really.
And the theme song in this movie is an orchestral version of the one that appears in the original TV show, that main one. So it's good, He knows how to score a movie.
For sure.
But interesting production, very interesting, cast, and as we get to it. On patreon.com/almostcultclassics, we're going to talk about another movie that Sonnenfeld did called Big Trouble, which is also really interesting, an adaptation of a novel, and it comes a little bit after this movie, this movie definitely, I think, hurt his career, and, he did bounce back with Men in Black 2 and stuff like that, but it was definitely...
He had to go back to the well, though.
Huge... It was a...
look, you got Wild Wild West, then Big Trouble. Big Trouble, we'll talk about, flopped.
Yeah.
And then what's after that? Men in Black 2. It's like, fuck, I got to go back to this. Which I don't remember being very good.
It was a commercial success. The budget was just so huge. I mean, they estimate it's about $170 million before marketing. The movie ends up making about $220. Jesus. And we discussed before we started rolling that it's believed that a lot of kids were buying tickets for Wild Wild West and sneaking into South Park or the American Pie. Was it the first one or was it the second one? I think
it was the first one, yeah.
So... a lot going on at this time, but I remember this movie always being present in my childhood, and it just makes, it'll be interesting to discuss how it came to be, but we should jump back, because we're going to talk about Barry Sonnenfeld's career as a director. I guess his career as a whole, right before he got into directing, is also very interesting, because he was a DP.
Yeah.
For the Coens, who you love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think he did a great job on all three of them. He did Blood Simple in 84, Raising Arizona in 87, and Miller's Crossing in 90. They all look awesome. And he had like a real visceral quality. It's the one thing that always sticks out to me is in Raising Arizona, after he steals the diapers, and he's running through the house and the cops chasing him. That camera work is so... You really like... It gives you something more than just... I don't know. It's handheld, but there's a sturdiness to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's so good. Blood Simple's awesome. Did you watch it?
I did, yeah. It's great.
Look, Dan Hedaya.
And we're going to talk about him in this movie, but M. Emmett Walsh.
Yeah, so good.
Great casting there. And these are the first three Coens movies? Was there any they did in between these that he just didn't do, or these were the first three they did? Were we missing anything? When was Fargo? That was like 90.
94,
right? Okay.
I believe.
So these were the ones... It's just interesting that, because I heard they met at a party, and Sonnenfeld got his start kind of doing, like, porn films, shooting porn.
Yeah.
So interesting, leap to make.
You'll learn how to work a camera. I mean, there's something to be said for that.
I'm almost bummed he doesn't do cinematography anymore. Because these movies look phenomenal.
I love how he shoots.
And by the way, they are the first three.
First three?
The first one they do without him is Barton Fink in 91.
Coming to the gate with those 3 movies.
It's impressive. And I was watching Miller's Crossing last night, and that's another one where you're like, again, I know the guy had worked on film sets, but it's a very amazingly looking film for someone that hadn't really done too much DP work. And that might be a testament to the fact of working with those guys in the collaborative environment.
Probably.
We talked about him a little bit on our episode on the Lady Killers because they were setting that up for him to direct, right? That was the case, and then he got pulled into something else.
Oh, yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, because he has a producer credit on that movie.
Yeah.
He's also the producer on the movie, which maybe we should come back to, called The Crew. Are you familiar with this movie?
Rings a bell.
It's like a bunch of old guys doing a con, and it's Burt Reynolds, Seymour Cassell, Richard Dreyfuss, and Dan Hedaya, and they're all in like fedoras and sunglasses on the poster.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
But he's a producer on that. He also was DP on a couple of other movies that weren't the Coens, including In Our Water, which was a documentary film. Compromising Positions, which I didn't watch, but I was reading up a little bit about it. It sounds like an entertaining movie.
It doesn't. It's got Raul Julia.
Yeah.
Which obviously, met him here, brings him over to the Addams Family, which is... One thing he's very good at, I gotta say, is some of his casting is fucking beyond perfect.
There's a lot of repeats, too.
Sure. But yeah, I it was too late in the game. I was like, I can't put another movie in here to watch. But yeah, that seemed interesting. And then one for years I'd been hearing about. It's like a massively underrated film, which it is weird that, like, I'm going to talk about 3 O'Clock High.
Yeah, I love this movie.
It's great.
I discovered it last year, I think.
Uh-huh.
It was one of those movies where, like, I put on, I had plans in, like, an hour and a half, and I was standing up with my jacket on, because I was like so into it. It was such a great take on the high school movie. And it's also shot, like, he's a very good visual joke crafter.
Uh-huh.
That's something that comes up in a lot of these movies, is the way he tells jokes through the way the camera moves. And the Addams Family, we'll talk about when we get to it, but he's not the DP there, but he's that quickness. There's like the stuff with Thing it's so impressive.
Yeah.
And when you look at it's like, that's why I said I really wish he kept doing DP work, because Throw Mama from the Train, that's another really interesting movie. We've touched on that with our Danny DeVito episode. And then he does Big, which is a huge hit.
I had a whole stand-up routine about Big.
About him essentially banging the woman.
Well, the movie's about, this boy who gets turned into like a grown man. Like, that's not what the movie's about. This movie's about a woman's life being utterly ruined because she was, in so many words,
and she finds out about it.
And she finds out about it. So
Yeah.
she's got to live the rest of her life knowing, I had sex with this boy who was magically... Dude, she's ruined. Funny bit.
It's funny. I just watched this. I'm not just watched, but I watched May December. Are you familiar with this movie?
I heard about it.
It's essentially...
Is that any good? Is it funny?
It's like a dark comedy. Yeah, it's got more like awkward moments. But Julianne Moore plays
Todd
this...
Haynes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore plays this woman who essentially...
It's the Mary Kay Letourneau
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Right.
But you look at it, like, that'd be a funny follow-up to Big, where you find out that she pursued him as, like, a young man, and, like, they're together now, and he's
would
like...
be funny.
Yeah. We should also touch on, he does two...
Tangent. We haven't done this one.
You gotta get them all
I have
out.
a billion tangents that have to go.
He does DP for 2 movies that Rob Reiner directs, When Harry Met Sally and Misery, which, again, both interesting choices. I think Misery is a very well-shot film.
Yeah, like I told
because
you,
it all takes place in...
I told you before, I feel like, because I hadn't seen it in a while, so I rewatched it. It's really Rob Reiner kind of ripping off De Palma in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Well, it's also funny, De Palma in a lot of ways is ripping off Hitchcock.
Yeah.
So you get like this diluted, like...
Yeah.
I like that.
Less talent each time. It's not a bad movie. I just was surprised. I remembered it much more. I just was kind of like, oh, okay. It just didn't really do it for
like
me
the
that
part
much.
when the sheriff gets killed. That always like, there's always like, I know it's coming. You feel like
he didn't really. Yeah,
it's like a Scatman Crothers Shining type situation. But
they turned out to be assholes.
It's an entertaining movie, and I think a lot of it has to do with the casting. But
oh, for sure.
I guess by that point, he decides to move on to directing. And I was telling Ryan, he wrote a book, Barry Sonnenfeld, called Barry Sonnenfeld, Call Your Mother, which, by the way, I thought the title would be like he's telling the audience to call your mother. No, it's because he was at this huge, like, anti-Vietnam War protest concert where Jimi Hendrix was performing, and all of a sudden over the PA, he was like 17 years old. It was Barry Sonnenfeld, Call Your Mother, in front of the entire.
That's great.
And he was like, so it's, when he left, all the crowd was shouting Barry. They were cheering Barry. So he has a very like neurotic relationship with his parents and his mom, and I think that comes across in.
How good would it be if she's like, Barry, you got drafted?
He was like, I knew my father died. There was no way my mother would be calling me. And she just called because she was like, you're 20 minutes late. Where are you? He was like... But he said in the book that he was a big fan of the Charles Addams comic strips, reading them as a kid. So that obviously informs him to direct the Addams Family, which... That's... You can't really... These movies kind of... You have to talk about them together, because not only do they come out only 2 years apart, but a lot of the same crew... Same cast, obviously, but I hadn't seen the first Addams Family in a long time, and it's just great.
I think the first one's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like it. I mean, like I said earlier, Raul Julia perfectly gets... It's so perfectly cast. That it's a great Gomez.
The whole family is.
The whole family, sure, of course. Even to the point where, I mean, I haven't seen any of this new show. I don't
The
know.
Wednesday show?
Yeah, like, iconic.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's a kid, but like, dude, like girls really like ran with the Wednesday Addams thing, for better or worse. You know, it just really, it struck a chord. But I have to single out Christopher Lloyd. You can't take your eyes off him. The performance
Well, in both of these movies, the Fester character is kind of the center.
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what I love about...
Which I'm fine with.
Anytime you watch Uncle Fester in either of these new animated movies, any iteration they've done excluding these two movies, he's played like Joe Besser. He's very like, oh, hello, I'm Uncle Fester. It's very like... Even Fred Armisen's playing him now, and that's how he's doing it. Ugh. It's very like, hello, Wednesday, nice to see you.
Christopher Lloyd's got that growl.
Well, it's like, no way that, and he's like shy and very timid.
Yeah.
But
just every face he
the
makes.
way he fucking like, it's like a turtle. He like kind of, I don't know how he did it, because he's a tall, lanky guy.
They put a costume
I know, but
on
he's
him.
still like, every time you see, he's got his neck tucked down. It's just brilliant casting.
The first one's good. I actually really like the first one. It's the whole family's together. Their dynamics really funny. I love the Addams Family because, like, they're like these weird. They're hard to classify. Like, they're kind of these weird theosophist, like Madame Blavatsky seance type, you know, weird secret society people. But then they're like witches.
It's very strange.
I like it because you can't nail it down. The second one I think stinks.
I like the second one more.
They break the family up.
I know. But...
I hate it. No, because every story gets short shrift. They're all like really half baked. The 3 plot lines.
Yeah,
they're all good.
Well,
Joan Cusack's good in it.
The first one really does it. Like, we never got an Addams Family movie with this cast where they're all just together the entire movie. Because the first one, the whole plot is Uncle Fester has like amnesia. He lost his memory, and
I couldn't help but watch the movie, and I was like, how are they going to square this circle?
Yeah,
like how did it was Fester the whole time?
Yeah,
okay, fine.
Which I think that always like weirded me out. I didn't quite understand why Uncle Fester wasn't being. These movies also changed the dynamic in the original show. And I believe in the comic strip, Fester is Morticia's uncle.
Okay.
These movies change it so he's...
they're brothers.
Gomez's brother. Yeah. And I think every subsequent adaptation has kept that theme.
I like that.
And it works a lot better.
It does.
Yeah. I love when they're doing like the old home movies of them where like they're pranking people with the shark fin. It's just great. And the two of them, I mean, everyone in this movie. You made me feel like an idiot because I sent you that... The way Morticia is lit. Yeah. I was like, how the fuck did they pull this off? You're like, oh, it's just lighting.
Well, no, they just shined a light on her face.
I know, but it's every time you see her,
it's a
very interesting way they light her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wouldn't that like blind you? Like, it's
deflect, bounce.
There's so much like
diffuse.
And again, we talked about the stuff they did with Thing, which I think they said was a magician, was the guy that was doing it, who's very good, like sleight of hand, fast stuff, but it becomes its own character just in the way it moves. 'Cause in the show, I believe, it was just like a box, and it would come out because it was a guy under a table.
Is that how they did it? I was
Yeah.
wondering. I figured they probably cloaked it and just shot it against black or something. You know what I mean?
In the original show?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it...
This thing was on the original show.
It was, but I don't think he ever came out of the box.
That makes sense.
And this, it's like...
It's not bad for 91. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And again,
Effects
casting...
wise. I couldn't get over... Like, initially, with Fester, when he's the George or whatever, I can't even remember. And he's got that hair.
Yeah.
And he's just, the way he's, like, the crooked smile. And like you said, all the hunching and the shoulder.
Gordon.
Dude, it's both these movies are worth watching for this Christopher Lloyd performance. The second one, though, it's like, dude, Raul Julia's dying.
Yeah, but
you can tell.
You can, but there's...
It sucks.
Here's the thing about it. For whatever reason, I actually was talking to my parents about this because I wanted to know where the... I had the second one on VHS growing up. We did not have the first one. So I asked them, I said, why did I have the second one and not the first one? They said, well, you like that one more. I was like, okay, fair point. I had not seen Addams Family Values in a really long time. And I watched it maybe a couple weeks ago as we were prepping to do this. I fucking love it. I don't know if that's my childhood, like, tying into it. I just think it's... Joan Cusack is so funny in it.
She's good. No, for sure. Like,
and not only that...
Everyone's going for it.
Yeah.
Like, all the performances are good. Raul Julia is dying. Like, that dance sequence.
Yeah, I don't pick up on it then.
That's when it clicked in my head. I was just like, oh, wait a second. He was fucking dying during this. Because he just looks a little stiffer.
And you can tell, too, watching these movies, Christina Ricci.
Ricci.
I always do that.
Fucking dumb dago.
Hey, Christina Ricci. She is, like, a force to watch.
That's what I'm saying. It was iconic. And
she is as a kid, she
had presence.
Good
presence
in these movies.
Yeah.
The second one too, when
Poor
you get the David Krumholtz character, I'm sorry, that shit to me is so funny.
Yeah.
I love too the Michael Jackson thing, which is like wasn't intended to be.
Yeah, I didn't. That's the other thing. I didn't like the satire in the second one. I thought it was a little out of place.
And then Peter McNichol, it's just that shit is so funny to me.
You know what's weird about? I think it's the second one. There's a ton of people in it that hadn't quite like.
Yes,
Cynthia Nixon has like a 2-second cameo. It's Christine Baranski
as
and
she's
Peter
the other
McNichol.
counselor.
They're going
but
for
that
it.
scene when fucking what's her name?
Tony Shalhoub is in it for 2 seconds.
When we cut to her at that bar and they're singing Macho Men, it is so out of nowhere. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
And then, like, I love when there's the old waitresses coming through with the tray and they like, take her. And it's just
it is
little
funny.
moments and just the way he cuts shit together quick. And he always said that he attributed a lot of that to the editors he was working with because, man, these movies are just tight.
They move.
They're
not long. I have to say that. Like, I didn't like the story in the second one, but everything, like, it looks great. The performances are excellent. For what these are.
Yeah.
They're TV
the first one when they're at that motel. That to me is like
it's excellent.
That's what this movie is. It's great. It's when you contrast them in the real world, because the Munsters. This debate comes up a lot. The Munsters were like they looked horrific, but they thought they were just an American family. They were into some macabre stuff, but the Addams family are like sadists. You know?
That's what I mean. You can't place them.
They're into homicide and death and like.
And they have a ton of money, and they almost live in squalor. Like...
And that's the weird thing about the second one, where it's like if Joan Cusack's character had just like not tried to fuck them over, they would have accepted her. She would have been a big part of the family. But man, those scenes when she's trying to kill him in the bathtub with the light bulb, he's just so funny. And everything about it. You got
I hate to say it's Christopher Lloyd's best performance, but my God, it's so good. Like,
it is.
Watching him as Fester, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like a revelation almost. For this fucking...
He disappears into that role. He feels... I think it's a lot to do with the makeup and the padding of the suit.
Oh, 100%.
But I just love the Uncle Fester that's understated and kind of timid, but also like very gruff. Like it's just it's so great.
It's really, and him and Gomez playing off each other. It's hilarious.
The knife throwing and all that stuff.
But I have to ask you. I think you said Sonnenfeld was a fan of Addams Family, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like you can tell the affection here. It's not overdone. Like they can still poke fun at it, but like they liked it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like something like with Barbie. Like I'm like. They hate Barbie. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt watching that movie. Yeah. I'm like, they do not even like Barbie.
Well,
I'm like,
brought up
they
during
like Addams Family.
Your criticism of it. You brought up of Barbie of those Brady Bunch movies, which is the same thing.
We have to cover those. They're funny.
They have. There's also a third one, which we could do that on Patreon. There's like a direct to video, but. Yeah, they're very in on the joke, but they also have respect for the characters in the world and all that stuff.
And look, it's the Brady Bunch. It's like it's not the Bible. You don't have to like be oh my God, but there still is like
It's so obvious when you watch one of these 90s adaptations where the director or people involved were fans of it, because it comes through.
With Barbie, man, it was just like they wanted it both ways. It's like, isn't Barbie kind of stupid? But also, yay, Barbie.
And I don't think the Addams Family has ever been as good as it was with these two movies.
Have you seen any of this Wednesday show?
I have.
Any good?
It's
all right.
Christina Ricci is in it, so that's a nice.
Who does she play?
She plays one of the teachers at this school that Wednesday's at.
Okay.
I mean, Luis Guzman as Gomez. That's
a weird choice.
Yeah, but when you look at the way that character looks in the cartoons, he looks like Peter Lorre. He's kind of pudgy.
That's fair. That's true.
Raul Julia was the first one to make him like this sexy Latin like.
John Astin was kind of he was nuts,
But he wasn't like Raul Julia is like
he's dashing.
a Latin lover. Yeah, he's like very.
What a loss as an
Yeah,
actor.
agreed.
Died young-ish.
Yeah,
sucks.
And according to Barry Sonnenfeld, like he was just a guy that loved life, like loved food and women and drink, and was just a blast to be around.
Terrible.
And even Angelica Houston as Morticia, which is not like
she gets a couple belly laughs with that understated. Like in the second one, there's a really good joke. She's like, what was it? It was like, where do you meet these Addams boys? She's like, somewhere damp or something like that.
That's so great.
It's her delivery's killer.
You know, the only thing that's interesting, and I couldn't really figure out why the actress playing Grandmama changed, but in the first movie it's Judith Malena, and then it's Carol Kane in the second one.
Yeah.
It's not particularly noticeable.
No.
But it's just interesting that...
What's the character's name?
Grandmama. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a weird character to begin with. Just
yeah.
Like, you forget about her, and then she's like, oh, right, she's there.
Well, she's Morticia's mother, I believe.
I don't know that first actress, but Carol Kane's pretty
great.
Good.
Yeah,
always,
and
always good.
She definitely has a little bit more fun with it. You can kind of pick out the character a little bit more.
She had a great look when she was young. Just now, but...
And yeah, they're just well cast, and they're just a lot of fun, and I was really pleasantly surprised revisiting these movies, because it's been a long time.
I think they hold up for what they are.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the second one, but that's,
So
subjective.
But
did you watch For Love or Money?
I was going to say, in between the two Addams Family movies, he makes a movie called For Love or Money, which I did have time to watch. You can't rent or stream it anywhere. I had to find other ways to watch it.
Sure.
It's pretty okay.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's about a concierge at a big plaza-style New York hotel, and about how he kind of has to navigate his life around these crazy characters that work in this hotel. Dan Hideya's in it again. There's a lot of great casting. Michael J. Fox is really good. It starts really great, because I knew nothing about it other than the poster when I started watching it. And it starts with Michael J. Fox in the back of a limo. He's commanding this presence, going around all these New York stores, picking up jewelry. And he walks up to a door in the hotel, knocks on it. The woman answers like, "Oh, they're beautiful." And then Dan Hedaya steps in, like, "Thanks for getting it, kid." Like the whole movie, you start thinking he's going to be like this wealthy playboy character, and it's a quick switch into being like, no, he's just an errand boy for these wealthy people at this hotel. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of good moments. You also realize that when you look at these movies like that, because like, why would someone like Barry Sonnenfeld, coming off the Addams Family, make this kind of New York set romantic comedy? That's like, oh, probably because he lived in New York. Yeah. And you start to realize that Woody Allen stuff, setting a movie in New York, it's just convenient for...
Well, sure.
If you live in New York.
Well, look, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like
you can walk to work, and you don't have to. You're not in a different state. And
yeah, I mean, if you live in like fucking Cincinnati, like the means to make a movie aren't really there. If you're in New York or LA, there's studios, there's equipment, there's actors,
right?
There's crew. Like, good luck finding a fucking boom operator in Muncie.
Right.
It's going to be tough. In Brooklyn, you're going to have your pick of the litter.
You're going to have a lot.
So it is what it is. I mean,
it's interesting
to see.
It's
New York.
That too. Yeah.
I mean,
You're saying your movie in Manhattan. There's so much
come
great.
on.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know who's really great in it is an actor. Let me get his name real quick. He plays like this husband that's on vacation in New York, and Michael J. Fox is helping him. It's Michael Tucker, who plays the dad in Radio Days. That guy.
Yeah. It took me a second. No, I heard Radio Flyer in my head, and I was like, I've never seen that. Yeah, Radio Days, of course.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He plays like this guy that's on vacation in New York, and his wife is just fed up that he's not. And Michael J. Fox keeps coming up to him like, "Oh, sorry, here are the tickets you asked for." Really, it makes him look good. It doesn't feel anything like his other movies, but it's entertaining. I'm glad I saw it because I wanted to watch everything he did up till Wild Wild West. So
yep.
After that is 95 is a movie we're both fond of. Get Shorty.
In my top 10.
Yeah.
I think.
It's great.
And that's one of those things where it's, look, it's not the greatest movie ever made. I love it.
Yeah.
I can watch it every time. I watched it the other night. I'm like, this is fucking great.
I'm watching the movie, right? And there's a scene where Chili Palmer, this is John Travolta's character, and Harry Zim, is it? Mm-hmm. Gene Hackman. They're in a car together, and Gene Hackman's wearing, it says Zim Films, and it's with a Z. And I was like, I have to get one of these hats.
Oh, dude.
I found one. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think it was a crew hat that they had.
Still.
But I found it on eBay, and I was like, I have to fucking buy this.
Did you?
Yeah, of course. It hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'm like, that's just a great...
I love this movie, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Travolta's perfect. Rene Russo's perfect. Hackman's perfect. I could watch Dennis Farina as this character, Ray Barboni, do anything.
Well, we're going to talk about him for Big Trouble, too.
He's
which
so- another
the man is a delight.
enormous loss.
Yeah.
My God, I love him so fucking much.
But this movie, it's everything. It's Midnight Run. He just is so great in everything.
So funny, man. Just every little line. It's just, obviously it's adapted from the Elmore Leonard novel of the same name. And if you were around at this time, you're an Elmore Leonard fan, you were really spoiled because you got Get Shorty, written by Scott Frank. Mm-hmm. He did such a good job. They let him write Out of Sight, which is fucking phenomenal. It's probably a better movie than Get Shorty, but I like Get Shorty more. And then you have Rum Punch adapted into Jackie Brown by Mr. Tarantino, who by the day is looking more and more right about his director should retire.
Oh, really?
But we'll talk about Killers of the Flower Moon
we're gonna
later.
get into that later.
But
I will also touch
these
on...
are three excellent Elmore Leonard
He also does
adaptations.
a TV pilot for an Elmore Leonard book called... But it was described as like being like Twin Peaks. Do you know what I'm talking... Maximum Bob.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember this.
Because Sonnenfeld develops a kind of a relationship with Elmore Leonard after getting the rights to Get
Wait,
Shorty.
Maximum Bob, that was the Bo Bridges thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. That sounded interesting.
So that's based on I believe it's based on an Elmore Leonard
Yeah, he's like
story.
a judge who always gives the maximum sentence or something.
But great writer, and I will say there's a Get Shorty. It's unrelated to the TV series. I don't know what the fuck happened to it. When the pandemic hit and they just stopped.
I remember you saying it was all right.
I really enjoyed it because it did a lot of things differently. It kept the characters and the kind of world a little bit, but it made Chili Palmer an Irish guy, and Ray Romano is the Gene Hackman Harry Zim character, really funny. And we've talked about it a little bit, but I can't bring myself to ever watch Be Cool because I just know it.
Oh
sucks.
my God,
Yeah.
dude! I'm so glad you brought that up. So I love this movie. It's a chill movie. Like it's so comfy. I'm hanging out. Chili's there. You know what's great? It's a fish out of water, right? It's Chili Palmer. He's set up in Miami, and there's a convoluted plot, but he finds himself in L.A. I love when a fish out of water walks better than the humans,
Right?
Because he is not from there. It doesn't even matter. He don't care.
Yeah.
And everything bends to his will.
I love how instantly he's able to control the Martin Weir character.
It's amazing.
He just like the way he's able to like
DeVito-
see through that bullshit and just.
DeVito's funny in the movie. I mean,
I love that scene where they're having like, yeah, can we get an egg white omelet? Well, shallots lightly brown. Bring it for the table. We'll all pick on it. And then he just leaves instantly.
Immediately.
It's like such a phony just way to behave in Hollywood.
Delroy Lindo's awesome in it.
Gandolfini, of course, is great.
Excellent. I recommend reading the book too, especially because they get more into the Delroy Lindo character.
Okay.
It's like Bo Catlin. It's,
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, but fucking funny movie. Interesting kind of meta take on Hollywood and filmmaking and stuff. I think it's Sonnenfeld's best movie.
Do you think that helps you enjoy it more, the film making movies backdrop?
I don't think so. I think it's more his ease at getting into it. Because everyone says, like, oh, man, it's so hard to break into Hollywood. And he just waltzes in.
Him and his minivan.
Immediately, yeah, and the Cadillac of minivans. There's so many good callbacks.
It's also a really great story with the David Paymer character.
Yeah.
The plane crash and that inspiring the story. And
It's layered. It's simple and complex at the same time, and it's satisfying.
Yeah.
It's a satisfying movie. It doesn't fuck you. It doesn't fuck you around. It doesn't yank you.
It's also like, again, talk about the way he structures his movies. You have like the opening, then that scene where Momo, the guy, has the heart attack, and it's just like, you're not allowed to take him out as long as Momo's still alive. Then we just cut to him having a heart attack.
Momo dies.
It's great.
But that whole beginning with the jacket.
Yeah.
He takes his jacket,
goes to his house, punches him.
He doesn't say a word to
Yeah.
him. He punches him in the nose. You broke my fucking nose. Grabs his jacket, walks out. I mean,
then the next scene where him coming to shoot, it's just like,
it's shot so perfectly,
Yeah.
man. Like, I could watch this movie. I used to watch it like once a month. It's just so fucking enjoyable. That said, they're doing a sequel. I'm like, oh, and it's based on a book. I'm like, Be cool. This is going to be great. Sonnenfeld does not return to direct. I believe it was F. Gary Gray.
That's true. That's correct.
It's not the worst director. It's all right. I don't know who wrote it. I don't care. This movie I hated it so much when I came out. It looks like a TV. It looks like a TV show, essentially. So, like, all that great cinematic quality that Get Shorty had is gone. I remember it made a little news because, like, The Rock was playing, like, this gay character, and, like, he was.
I mean, the cast is loaded. I'm looking at it now.
Loaded,
it's like,
and it's wasted.
Yeah.
Like, Cedric the Entertainer was his little plot was kind of funny.
Because it relates more to the music industry, this one, right?
It's hard. And
it sucks.
And the music industry fucking sucks.
I see DeVito's in it.
Not interesting. Was he?
Yeah.
Does he play Martin Weir?
Yeah.
Man, I remember, too, they were hyping it up because they were like, oh, my God.
James Woods.
Travolta and Uma Thurman are
Also, Harvey Keitel's in it, despite the fact that at the end of Get Shorty, he's playing Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. But they're going to dance again, like in Pulp Fiction. And they do in the movie, and it's the most boring.
Ugh.
It's like, dude, it's a gross film.
Don't
watch it.
Pretty telling that Sonnenfeld didn't return for it, because he usually is the person to do his own sequels.
Yeah. And like I said, Get Shorty. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, speaking of good,
I could rave about this movie all day long. The Dennis Farina shit.
That's great. We'll come back to him with Big Trouble.
So funny.
He follows this up with Men in Black, which is another one of those movies. If you were like alive to have a memory, you remember this movie just being huge.
And not only that, so I was I've brought this up a million times, big conspiracy nut, aliens, Bigfoot, all that crap. Loved it as a kid. I'm 10 and this is coming out. I'm embarrassed. I don't even want to get into it, like how obsessed I was with this shit.
With Men in Black?
Going to the theater dressed as Men in Black.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Did you like the cartoon? The cartoon was big for me.
No.
The Saturday morning show.
No, you know what? I was a weird kid like that because anytime I saw something like that, I would take it as a bastardization.
even back then,
even
little you were going, I didn't care for the sequel. It wasn't.
Dude, it's incredible when people would when an actor would do something like I'm going to sing or something, like have a real problem with that, or when a musician would be like, I'm going to act, not knowing that this has been done forever. Like, singers can act and stuff. I mean, you don't do that. Stay in your lane, essentially. Like, what a weird little kid.
Before I forget, I want to touch on something that appears in the Men in Black movies and in the Addams Family movies, is the title card design, which is by Pablo Ferro, who did the Doctor Strangelove title cards. And he has that it looks, certain words are in cursive, others are in that very, drawn out print.
Yeah, I like the typeface. I hadn't seen Men in Black in forever. I forgot. I hate the opening to this. That dragonfly thing.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
horrible. I'm like, what am I looking at here? And then it just gets splat on a window. I'm like, that was so fucking pointless. But yeah, I'm a font guy. I love the fonts.
And he sees the guy was doing no work, but Sonnenfeld's such a huge Strangelove fan that he sought him out to do the title cards for these movies. And honestly, it works really well for Men in Black. It's got like a strange quality to it.
Yeah.
And the opening to Men in Black, excluding the dragonfly,
Danny Elfman, dun 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 dun. It's great.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's driving.
With the people over the border, like it's so fun. The effects are great.
Sonnenfeld does he's really good about this. He's good with getting big performances out of people. So I brought up Christopher Lloyd, especially when they look a little weird. Mm-hmm. Fucking Vincent D'Onofrio in this movie he's great. It's so funny.
Yeah.
The walk and the shifting. And
it's one of the greatest, performances in a sci-fi movie.
And just the fact that, if you haven't seen the film in a while, an alien essentially puts on a skin suit of Vincent D'Onofrio.
But it doesn't quite fit.
And it's deteriorating throughout the movie. His skin's rotting. Yeah. It's so funny, man.
Sugar. Water.
Really underrated, though, in a sense. I'm like, God damn, that is a funny performance.
And for me, the best representation of why this movie works is the scene where the two of them go to his wife's, the farmhouse, to talk to her. And he does a thing. And she's like, I mean, girl, get yourself some new clothes. Like, Will Smith was perfect in that role of this outsider brought in to this world.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted Will Smith to do the same thing in that movie, and his partner in that to be very Tommy Lee Jones, very straight-laced. Kevin Kline decides to play the role a little bit more heightened and goofy than I think they were expecting, which requires Will Smith to play it a bit straight. But when I watched that, we'll talk about it, but it's one of them wears goofy costumes. What were you?
It's really odd to me that you
wanted that character to be.
There's a way to do it though, where it's like a self-serious scientist.
I don't know, man.
And now I will dress as a woman because I have developed the perfect breast.
Which is kind of how the the TV show is.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's how Artemis is? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, you watch it, you're like, well, why wouldn't Artemis
Yeah.
Gordon be goofy?
Yeah.
Like, and why wouldn't Jim West be straight-laced?
So
Like,
I'll say this. I'm watching an episode, I think it's the first episode of the Wild West 60s TV show. And in it, similar relationship. You have these two guys, they travel on a train that has hidden gun compartments, all that stuff, which I wish the movie kind of talked a little bit more how that train came to be, but whatever. At one point, Jim West goes to some town, right? And there is a Chinese guy, the very stereotypical Chinaman, sitting outside this general store with the long fingernails. It's so clearly a white man in Asian person with the slitted eye makeup.
Sure,
and I'm like, this is kind of offensive, but you know what? It's going to turn out to be Artemis Gordon. Turns out in the same scene, Artemis Gordon's playing a Mexican guy. So that was just their legitimate
that's
attempt.
excellent.
It was Victor Bueno, was the Chinese guy.
Of course.
Who Batman 66 was King Tut.
Okay.
And he's the, whatever happened to Baby Jane, he's kind of the fat piano playing guy. But I was just like, here I am sitting going like, oh, you know what? No, they're going to tie this in. It's going to be Artemis Gordon. Nope. It's just, it's an actual, it's a different.
God.
But the reason I bring it up too is that Wild West, when they were making this, got into some controversy because people were.
By the way, I do want to, what's the word? Bit of bone to pick, I guess, with history or I no secret, I despise journalists. Absolutely hate them. Lowest class of people on the planet, probably. But life is nothing but a telephone game. Because I would always hear like, oh, Robert Conrad had a real big problem with a black guy playing Jim West. It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
He literally said he was just like, I think he said it was probable. Like, yeah, it was probably going to happen. Like, why not? Who cares?
Yeah, he just had a problem with the content of the movie, right?
Yes,
yeah.
like how they were presenting the film. He was like, here's another thing, too, is you forget Will Smith, big star now. He's done a lot of dramatic roles. He was looked at as the Fresh Prince.
Right.
Comedy actor, essentially. Goofy, I'm from Cuba. So he's like, why is this comedy actor playing Jim West, who's like, he should be a stone-faced guy? Like, I don't know. I read a lot of shit about Robert Conrad. All his points were correct.
Yeah, I think he was just concerned. And I really do think that.
By the way, Will Smith, years later, was just like, Robert Conrad was right.
Yeah. Well,
He straight up said it.
I think that all the things that I think that this movie, the reasons it doesn't work, you can trace back to John Peters. And listening to Sonnenfeld talk about the movie, he said there were three things that he think hurt the movie. One, it was this relationship between Will Smith and Kevin Kline, which, by the way, everyone's like, no chemistry. I don't tend to agree. I think they find a chemistry.
I'm with you.
I don't think it necessarily.
They probably
is film. It carries the film. It's kind of weak, but I do think there's that scene when they have the collars on. They're kind of fighting. It's fun.
They stay adversarial too long.
Right. I think that's the
They
problem.
don't find that comic
There needed to
ground.
be like the moment where they come together.
That's the other thing. I mean, how long? This movie was like an hour and 45 minutes. That's the other thing about Men in Black. I forgot
Tight.
about. Tight.
Yeah.
It's over 90 minutes to the point where at the end where he's like, all right, zap me. You're like, no.
Yeah.
No, you just got started.
You know what's so weird?
Oh, by the way, go ahead.
I was just going to say the movie ends with like Will Smith in like this cool Men in Black outfit. Like that doesn't work.
It got when I saw it as a kid, I laughed. I was like, you look like an idiot.
Do you think that's why they didn't keep it for because back in this, and by the time the second one rolls around, the necktie and all that stuff's around.
Yeah, he's not wearing the tie. He's got that goofy, dumb
It's
collar.
so weird.
But I have to touch on this, man. How awesome is Linda Fiorentino?
She's great.
So good.
That's the thing where like the sequel, you're almost like, why isn't this character
It
around?
was a Tia Leone, I think. They switch it up. Well, you gotta love her. So she's obviously like a very.
Wait, what? With Tia Leone?
Isn't she in the second
No, it's
one?
Rosario Dawson.
In the second one?
Yeah, it's Rosario Dawson. She's the love interest.
What the fuck am I thinking
I have
of?
no fucking clue. Jurassic Park 3? What the fuck are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Linda Fiorentino being replaced.
She is.
But it had to be with Rosario? No, really?
It's explained that he has a problem holding on to partners, and he keeps. Is it called neuralizing?
Yeah,
he
something like
keeps
that.
because it's the movie
Okay.
stars Patrick Warburton as his new partner, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And he just has a problem with it. He comes back to NIB Heckler's like, oh, you've neuralized another one, huh? He has a thing with that. Rosario Dawson plays this character that is exposed to an alien being, but he's choosing not to neuralize her because he's kind of falling for her. And he wants to bring her into it's a very weird, that movie is not great. It's got
I
its
remember
problems.
it being not great.
Yeah.
But Linda Fiorentino, it's so funny. She always plays like, the dark-haired femme fatale, with the cigarette and everything. She kind of was that in real life.
Really?
Well, she got wrapped up in that whole George Pelicanos thing.
Oh, right.
With that, if you guys want to look into that, listeners, it's like a whole private eye Hollywood wiretapping crazy story. But I don't know, man. I feel like she hasn't been around since then. And,
Yeah, there's a, and not
she's
only that,
awesome.
this movie, I know we're kind of going towards Wild Wild West, but coming back to Men in Black, I was listening to Sonnenfeld discuss how he designed that kind of control room set because he wanted it to be one continuous shot. Will Smith walks in, gets in the elevator, opens up. Like that had to be built in and it looks great. It looks, and it's just, it's a very cool concept. It's the two of them have good chemistry, and then Rip Torn is great as the head of MIB. Yeah. Great supporting character. Also, there's the guy who played Lurch, Carol Strucken, and the other. I think that other little guy just passed away recently, but apparently that was changed in editing. That whole subplot. That's why they speak in an alien language because there was something that didn't work, and they went back in and added. They changed their dialogue essentially and made it in sub. So a lot of clever stuff that really kind of shifted the structure of that movie around. But it's a huge, huge hit. 500 million. So.
And the song was, you couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
Both of these songs.
That's what I mean. So, and it's worth pointing out that Men in Black is Columbia and Sony, but also you have that Spielberg connection with Amblin producing. Wild Wild West is Warner Brothers. And it's so clear they were just trying as hard as they could to tap into what made Men in Black a success. But you have John Peters involved, which not the best. You also have quite a few screenwriters on this movie. Big surprise. But of them...
Was that sarcastic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that one of the writing duos, Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman, that work on this script, they had written Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So it's like... I think that when it comes down to it, like I was just saying, John Peters really wanted them to cram some weird shit into this movie. The other thing that Sonnenfeld said, I said there were three things. He thought that the spider should have been about a third of the size that it was.
Yeah, it's probably too big.
Yeah. Well, also, you're watching it move, you're like, no one will be able to stand up on that fucking thing. The way it's like, boom,
it's careening around.
And they cut to them all on the top. They're just kind of all sitting there. Like, would not happen that way.
Yeah, you're right.
He said the third thing that he said he actually went above John Peters' head to the studio and said, I don't want to film that. He had to film it, was the drag scene with Will Smith, which it is almost film ruining.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It is a standout scene where I just watched this 2 nights ago, I think. As it's going on, you're like, did the movie just get ruined?
It is fucking awful. And
it's weird.
As a kid, I remember kind of being forgiving of it. It didn't really affect me then, but watching it now, it comes out of nowhere. It's like...
It really stands out to where it's like the black man in a dress.
It's 100%. Yeah, it's offensive in a weird way.
Well,
it's like,
I don't know if it's offensive, but it's
just like...
It gets into that thing where...
It's tone deaf. It's like monumentally inappropriate. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, Loveless would see right through it.
Immediately, it's like Sonnenfeld said it. I saw somewhere he was just like, all of a sudden this person appears and I don't care.
Yeah. And also, I was noticing, because we cut
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I know, but basically when that scene's set up, Will Smith is pushed for time. When it cuts to the close of him handing Kevin Kline the key, his fingernails are painted. I'm like, did Jim West have the time in this fucking death mission, this rescue mission where the fucking president's about to be killed to paint his nails? It's just dumb. It really is stupid. And I think that there could have been such... That whole scene...
Why... How do you, as a director... Like, who vetoes you? When he goes, I talked to everyone, I was like, I don't want to film this. Who is going... You know what it makes me think of? Have you seen Mulholland Drive?
No.
One of the main things in the movie is there's this director who's making a movie and he's casting for a girl in it, right?
Okay.
The studio, Dan Hedaya, funny enough, they have a girl. This is the girl. And he's like, who is this? I don't want this girl. No, this is the girl. And there's a weird implication of why it's the girl. You should check that movie out. But it makes you wonder, what shady thing is going on here? Conspiracy mind kicking in. No.
Well, I don't even think it needs to be a conspiracy mind. The man owned the film rights to Batman and Superman.
What does that have to do with getting Will Smith in a dress?
Because they don't want to piss him off. Whatever his weird...
But what... Why didn't... There's many cooks in a kitchen on a movie. It just doesn't... This movie didn't live or die by John Peters.
It did.
No.
Well, no, but I'm saying is... The studio, it appears, did not want to sour their relationship with John Peters because he owned the rights to Superman and Batman.
Fair enough.
And therefore,
I see what you're saying.
I think there are still
it's a
ways
Mulholland Drive
to get
conspiracy.
To fucking exercise this scene from the movie, where it would have been, oh, the footage didn't come out, there was a grain problem. Like, there are bullshit ways. But then you're also left with, like, how does Jim West there was the whole, we'll get to it when we get to it, that whole ending where it's like,
it derails the movie.
He takes them hostage on the spider, they go back to the town, then they're back on the spider. It's just like, that whole sequence could have been cut, and the end rescue mission would have still worked.
That end is a fucking mess.
It's crazy.
It's a disaster.
But yeah.
Oh, to stay on the conspiracy thing now, we'll get into this movie proper. I still think that, because the Oscars are in the news too, I think that slap between him and Chris Rock was fake. I think it was a setup. That doesn't mean everyone involved knew it was a setup. I think it was contrived. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I think it was contrived. I don't think
it wouldn't surprise me in the way that their ratings have been so done.
I got people talking about the Oscars.
Yeah.
And that's just one thing it did. I think it's I think it's fake. Please attack me for that one. I don't think it was real.
Well, this movie, again, 97 is Men in Black. This is 99. So I think Warner Brothers is pretty content to tap into that success of Men in Black. That's why they bring Sonnenfeld on board along with Will Smith.
Said, it looks like Men in Black on paper. You got Will Smith with some guy.
George Clooney is originally cast as Artemis Gordon, which creative differences, whatever reason, he ends up walking. He's got. How thankful do you think? I mean, he ends up doing Batman and Robin, which was around the same time, which wasn't. But like to have like Wild Wild West and Batman and Robin might have been like career ruining to an extent.
Maybe,
but yeah, I don't know. I think the casting of Kevin Kline is somewhat inspired. It's nothing like the relationship on the show. That scene where he's like, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And him as the woman when he's singing the song on stage, the Sons of the Soul. It's just like, it's so goofy.
It sucks too, man, because like as you're watching it, you're like, man, this setting's really great. Like post-Civil War.
Steampunk elements.
I hate steampunk shit. That said, I love the idea.
It's reserved in a way. It's not like...
Yeah, but there were technological advancements being made in this era.
Yeah.
Like, why not? It's not like it was all sticks and fucking stones before 1990. Like, people had to build shit and things happened.
What'd you think of the opening credit style of this movie?
It made me go watch the opening credits of the show.
Similar.
Because I'm like, what, were they going for something here? I don't know. It's a little...
It's similar in the sense that there's like kind of like... So
panels.
Yeah, panels. And the TV show, it's hand-drawn. So it's very cool looking. And this, it's more like James Bond style opening credits. Will Smith walking towards the camera, which, by the way,
showing all the characters.
Jim West, I don't like the design of the character. With that black suit and the hat. It's just kind of ridiculous.
The Cowboys always look kind of cool.
The opening is also a little silly with that scientist running and the blade coming after him. I know we come back to that, but...
Well, that was another thing. I feel like the collar thing was... Like someone was like... One of the writers like, where did this come from?
It's a strange... That's probably a John Peters thing, too.
It might have been.
A strange choice.
I need flying discs of...
It's very weird. And the movie, has that great orchestral score by Elmer Bernstein. And then we dissolve to this... Is this the town's, like, water supply? I think it's supposed to be West Virginia. But it's where we meet Jim West, and he is...
Yeah, it's like, the water tank.
He is kissing this woman in this like fucking tepid water that's just like what's going on? And I guess he's secretly working. He's scoping out this deal going down with ex-Confederate soldiers who are getting this nitroglycerin.
I love the idea of early intelligence work.
Of course,
in this
it's cool.
Post-Civil War, you'd have a ton of conspirators and saboteurs.
Well, speaking of conspiracy, me and my cousin, we were kids, analyzed this scene like it was this Zapruder film.
Were we looking for a nipple?
No, Will Smith's nutsack.
Oh wait, dude, it is his nutsack.
Or is it like you can't? And I was not about to.
Oh my god, I was, dude. It's the movie moves, so you kind of forget. But you're right.
And we're watching it on VHS, so it was very hard to now in 4K.
I think it might be balls.
Someone screenshot that in 4K and see what you can find.
Oh, man.
Because basically what happens is this water tank falls down. He's naked, obviously. Yeah. And we get a shot of, probably Sonnenfeld. He's an expert of shots. It's, Will Smith standing up. The shot is through his legs. And there's something in between his legs. Whether it's fake or whatever the deal is, I don't know. But it's very jarring.
Dude, I can't believe that you're so right.
Yeah.
Someone get those balls. I want those balls. Go on Twitter.
But I swear to God, as a kid... my cousin and I were the same age. We were like, had the VHS. They were like, wait, were those balls? Like, not something you typically saw in a movie, especially a children's film. There's gonna be many moments we talk about this movie. I'm gonna go, really, Ryan? Is this a movie for kids?
The Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
While this is going on, we cut to this saloon where Kevin Kline's Artemis Gordon is undercover as, for whatever reason, a prostitute, a female prostitute, and just doing this very like hello, like it's like Mrs. Doubtfire type.
Yeah, it is.
It's really, and it's so tired in things where it's like the gross man finds the man in drag attractive without realizing it. That's been going on since like the Three Stooges, where like Curly would be into like, oh hello, like
it probably should have ended with Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the pinnacle of nobody's perfect.
Let's not do
it's
this
over.
Anymore.
Like,
but Ted Levine plays General Bloodbath McGrath, who is he's got like this horn on his ear because he's lost an ear in the war. That's the thing. A lot of this movie, the characters have been like completely obliterated due to the Civil War. They're like
right.
Loveless, the main villain, has his fucking lower half blown off, and yeah, it's just I like Ted Levine.
I thank you. I gotta give him credit because I always think of James Gumb or Buffalo Bill.
Okay,
and it's like
I was a big Monk fan, so I always go.
Would you fuck me? Like, but he could have been
pretty lady.
I looked at it. He hadn't. Yeah. Would you?
Sons of the South.
Oh yeah, she was a big fat girl. But I always was impressed that he hadn't done a ton up until Silence of the Lambs. Very easy to get typecast.
Does not do it.
But that pick, like him do it, like, dude, he's been in everything forever. No one even recognizes him at this point.
No, not for that.
The hair.
Well, they put him in wig and a lot. Like in Monk, he always wear a wig.
He's a great actor, man.
Gruff, yeah. He is pretty good in this role. Yeah. It's he doesn't get enough. I think he's killed off pretty early on, but the fact he got an action figure, like I don't know, it seems that
he had a good look with the ear thing.
Yeah, and I guess
his death got a real groaner from me. By the way, there's a lot of groaners in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hack.
Well, it's when he dies, a dog hops off someone's lap, and I'm like,
it's an RCA.
But you know what? To be fair, I looked it up. It was a painting by. It's called His Master's Voice by Francis Broad.
Okay, wait, is that where that image comes from originally?
Yes.
Okay,
but it was created to be like an ad.
Yeah.
So
stupid. Why is a puppy on this fucking boat that they're on? It's
not
just
only that. As much as I like Sonnenfeld in his movies, he's the product placement in these fucking movies.
This has to be again a studio thing with the like
Addams Family had like Lurch is eating a Tombstone pizza in front of like a billboard.
Really?
Yeah, and what they're Get Shorty has some, but it kind of works because they're commenting on it.
You're doing a little bit.
Men in Black had the Ray-Bans.
It's true.
Something else too in
Men in Black for
Black.
selling Ray-Bans, I would imagine.
But Addams Family had some deal too. It was definitely Tombstone pizza because I think I recall Lurch in the fucking commercials. By the way, those movies needed more Lurch.
I agree, and he's great.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
but he's barely in the first one. It kind of pissed me off.
I love when they the second one when they're dropping the bowling ball or the cannonball and the baby off the roof, and the ball just hit, and he just keeps spraying the thing. He just, I met him, by the way, at one of the many Monster Mania horror conventions I attended when I was a teen. He signed my Addams Family DVD.
That's cool.
Which, by the way, can we touch on the fact that I follow that the people that run these Monster Mania? They're like I don't know. I guess they're only in like the Northeast. They're in like Baltimore and Cherry Hill, Jersey, things like that.
Sure.
Fucking John Cleese is going to be.
Right.
How hard up for money can he be?
I mean, I don't know.
He's got. I'm tempted.
Did they pay them an appearance fee?
They must pay them an appearance fee. They obviously put them up probably at a really nice hotel, and then he's got to be charging like $200 or more. Because I remember when we did our Cameo episode. For like the 10-minute Zoom call, he wanted like $1,000, and it was like $200 for a cameo. He's got to be asking.
Let me ask you this, because you've done this, get in line and get an autograph thing.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought like this has to be the awkward part. Like, who do you pay?
They have handlers.
Okay.
They're very.
Imagine handing a 20 to John Cleese.
I'm not kidding, dude. There's very specific rules where they cannot say a price. They can't accept your money.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's not allowed. I remember once like. How much for something I I think it was, this is another double feature we should do, is the Weekend at Bernie's movies.
I agree. I love those movies.
But it was Andrew McCarthy. I wanted him to sign I was like 14.
Your mannequin. You had a full-size mannequin.
I had the puppet of. He signed my DVD. I remember walking up and I was like,
Bernie's?
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. And I was like, how much? And he was like, you gotta talk to this guy. That's how it is. They're not allowed to talk about financial information. It always has to go through a handler. But I'm just like,
it would just be so weird. Like, hey, Mr. Cleese, can I get change?
No,
look, here's the other thing, too. You say how hard up. I doubt John Cleese is very hard up for money. Do you think you just get bored? And maybe sometimes it's like, you know what? I want to be praised. And you go to Cherry Hill and you get your dick sucked for 3 hours.
An ego thing involved in it.
It's probably fun.
Yeah.
It's probably kind of fun.
We should get a table.
One thing that always made me...
If we had merch, I would do it.
Yeah. I was going to make a sexual
we should
joke.
Try to get a press pass and see if we can go.
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you're on... this is such a weird aside. You're on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. Mm-hmm. I think, because I looked for him on Twitter. I think he's just on Facebook, Paul Schrader. Listeners, get Paul Schrader on our show. Bother him. And I don't even, like I was telling you...
Tag Hats Off Entertainment and then...
I don't even want to talk about his movies. I just want to shit talk with him.
Did you see that Facebook thing he posted where he, like, started slurring towards the end of
it.
it? It's fucking hilarious.
I'm like, I just want to bullshit with him.
And then the top comment was, the winner is Ambien. Yeah. Correct. Like,
get Paul Schrader on this show, people. We'll do all our part, but get him on our radar. But why was that aside? What were we
talking about celebrities and how they pour themselves out for attention and conventions.
It was, I think, Mads Mikkelsen. Right? I'm getting confused.
I don't know.
It was who's the new villain in the new Indian?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, so he was on that Hannibal show, and I would see pictures of him. People would post him. He's like choking.
Oh, really? Yeah, probably
that looks fun as shit. Like, I would do that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was just surprising to me because, like, usually there is like and I guess John Cleese really isn't like in the same caliber he was once in.
I mean, people would give him legend status or whatever.
Joe Dante will be there. That's kind of a cool.
It's kind of cool.
I would bring my matinee poster to have him sign if I didn't already have an autograph from him in character as Lawrence Woolsey, the John Goodman's character in that movie. I have a signed photo. So
what's weird? It made me think of this just because a couple things going on in the news lately, but it made me think of that Joe Dante movie he made for TV, the Second Civil War.
Oh, right. It's
about like 100 literal refugees. Mm-hmm. They want to put him in like Idaho, and the governor's like, no, absolutely not. And that's what kicks off the second. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I remember you talking about that.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about this movie is the Civil War plays a very big. I didn't detect much Civil War stuff in the TV show, but it's very prevalent here. So as we have Kevin Kline in disguise as this woman, kind of trying to get this information out of the general about where these scientists are being held or kidnapped. He has kind of like a belt that has like. Will Smith's character, Jim West, is fighting off these soldiers by this wagon loaded with nitroglycerin. Here's one, first of these things in this movie that make no sense. Do the horses just know where to go? Because he ends up on this wagon, right? He knocks out all the soldiers. He hops onto the wagon. The horses take off and lead him directly to the saloon where they're supposed to deliver the nitroglycerin.
Happen, yeah.
Did I miss something?
I don't think
does it just not make any sense? Like, the horses just know where to go.
The horses
or
know
something cut out? I don't know.
Go.
But we get this scene where...
You're right.
It makes no fucking sense. No. And I actually think this would have been a better opening than that scene with the blade. I think this scene ending with the big explosion, smash cut the opening credits, would have been a better opening. But Jim West gets into the saloon. He crashes through where Kevin Kline is where he's like hypnotized the general. And, chaos ensues. It's your classic brothel scene where you have women running around in their underwear and men in their long johns, through the hallways. Big fight scene happens.
Right.
As this is happening, this is where we meet Dr. Lovelace, who's played by Kenneth Branagh, who, if there's one person having fun in this fucking movie...
Maybe.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's having fun, in my opinion.
Apparently, too, on the show, it was Dr. Miguelito Quixote.
I watched a couple episodes with him in it. He's a little person.
Michael Dunn.
Yeah. And in the one I watched with him, Richard Kiel, Jaws from the James Bond movies, it's kind of like his heavy that carries him around places. Doesn't speak much. But I'm like, at what point did this had to be another John Peters thing? Like, no, we're going to make him in a steampunk wheelchair where he's got, at the end, we'll have big legs come out and he can crawl around. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And I read that Kenneth Branagh had to, like, crouch down in this wheelchair and, like, his legs were falling asleep. I have to give him a little bit of credit though, because he does inject some energy into this movie.
He's going for it.
He's completely going for it.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird, the way he just plays it with this accent and the facial hair, and anytime he's on screen, I'm at least captivated, you know?
I swear to God, that facial hair changes.
Really?
The design changes. Maybe it
might have
doesn't.
been reshoots or something, who knows?
But yeah,
It blew my mind as a kid, by the way, because as a kid I really liked those first 2 Harry Potter movies. I haven't seen many of the other ones, but it blew my mind that he was that guy. I forget the character's name, Lockhart, because it was just totally different. Like, I couldn't believe. And this was a movie. Do you remember those? There was a show that used to get on AMC that was all about the making of movies and movie magic. It was fucking great. As a kid, it was the first time you got to peek behind the curtain and see how this shit was done. I remember Wild Wild West was they had an episode on it. And it was just fascinating to watch how they did some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And even so, like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that's not impressive. There's a lot of, like, you can tell early kind of blue screen environment stuff. But some of the stuff is pretty...
The only thing I could think one of the things I could think after the movie was, I'm like, well, it was nice to look at. It's not the worst looking movie. Some of it's pretty damn inventive and cool. Like, yeah, there's some dodgy stuff. Don't get me wrong, but
he is in this stagecoach next to the nitroglycerin wagon, and he just, let us send in the welcome wagon, and they unlatch the nitroglycerin, it crashes and it blows up. After the two of them have obviously met each other, I'm not a woman. I'm Artemis Gordon, U.S. Marshal, and he's Army, and one of them is Marshal. I forget who is who.
Yeah, Gordon was a Marshal, and West was a captain in the Army, I believe.
So that's kind of our big opening set piece. And then we cut to Washington, D.C., where Jim West is going to meet... It's the White House is apparently you can just walk right in. I guess that was not a concern in the 1800s, whenever this is.
I mean, kind of. There's stories all about that stuff. I think it was Andrew Jackson. You could just walk in and talk to him. Yeah. But look, I mean, this is what I like about this era. It's kind of cool. It's like they showed D.C. and the Capitol's being built. Mm-hmm. You know
cool
what I mean?
stuff,
Like, yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't the fucking shithole it is now.
I don't know at what point they decided, let's just have Kevin Kline play Ulysses S. Grant.
I got to be honest, I didn't realize it was him at first. And not only that, I kind of wasn't even paying attention.
Okay. In the TV show, Ulysses S. Grant, from the episodes I watched, is similar role. He sends them on their mission. It is not played by the actor that plays Artemis Gordon. Mm-hmm. Artemis Gordon does disguise himself as the president in a couple episodes I read. But, like, the weird thing about this movie is they're indistinguishable. It's like, couldn't you have made Artemis Gordon look just like a little bit or make the president
they made him
look
a little
different?
fatter.
Bullshit.
No, they didn't.
It's there's like one of them has eye bags.
Okay,
that's as far as the differences go. But so yeah, he comes into General Grant's office. And, oh yeah. By the way, this is the second movie we've done on this podcast where Kevin Kline plays a person that costumes himself in multiple roles, which was Fierce Creatures we did on the show a couple years ago. And
God, he should do that.
Someone
he's good at that.
After the fact, sent us like the original stills where he played even more characters in that movie.
Yep.
The man is good at doing that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm glad he was cast in this, because he at least has fun with the disguises in like a Peter Sellers type way. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, Jim West comes in and points a gun at him. You know, you're not the president. Who are you? I am the president of the United. And then he shoots the ceiling, and I'm Artemis Gordon. That's kind of funny. And then the real Grant comes in and essentially starts to set up this exposition where I guess these engineers, scientists, hydraulics experts around the country have been kidnapped. And they sent a cake. They think it's Bloodbath McGrath. I don't think they know Lovelace is involved yet or what the deal is.
Well, they think he's dead.
Yeah, they think he died.
Right.
And it's basically saying that surrender the U.S. government. We're building a super weapon, and if you don't, we're gonna, kill some people.
Sure.
So their job is to infiltrate this, I don't know, conspiracy or this, what would you, Confederate, the lost cause kind of, I don't know what it's like. Yeah, it's like all these people that are kind of disappointed with the way the Civil War ended in there. I thought there was kind of a cool transition in this scene when Jim West gets on his horse and we find Artemis Gordon has developed this kind of like steam-powered bicycle, and he races. They're going to the train, and as he blasts past Jim West, all this smoke kind of comes up, and then it transitions into the smoke coming out of the train, which I thought was kind of. There's a couple. He has a good visual connecting the shots.
Absolutely,
and this is cool. I kind of like this train. This is the one thing I used to have the they made that tank thing but they never made the train. I wish they would have made.
I do remember the tank.
I would have loved it. And they made a separate Loveless action figure where you could fold his legs up to fit in this weird tank thing.
Oh, right.
And by the way, as a kid, I had 2 of these. One of them I ripped the legs off of, and I used a rubber band to attach him to Professor X's wheelchair. So I had a separate. This is how much I fucking loved this movie and loved like playing it. It was just like
Case in
I was
point,
very Cartman.
It's perfect for a young boy, dude. It is. It's
especially if you like balls, because they're you know,
or Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek's ass, which
Not
we'll get
bad.
to. Yeah. So they end up on this train, and this is where I never caught this as a kid, but when they're leaving the White House, someone comes up to Artemis Gordon and goes, "And sir, here's the package you requested." It's obviously the man's head. That
okay.
So when we cut to it in the train, the box is open.
Yeah.
And I wish the movie had more of this type of shit in it. It makes no fucking sense how it works. But the comedy between the two of them, when Jim West just keeps going, "Gordon, that is a man's head." This
is my problem. You have a character, Jim West, who's probably seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he's squeamish about a man's head. Gives a shit. Okay, I'll say this: on the 3rd time he does it, or 4th, I can't.
He does 4 times. He does it.
It kind of gets funny.
Yeah.
But at first, I'm like, why do you care?
Well, it's funny because
he seems like, oh, I'm disgusted.
Kevin Kline's just going on like, yes, it turns out that the human image is the last thing you see is burned into the retina.
Meet Professor Thaddeus Morton, kidnapped from MIT 6 months ago. Expert in the field of metallurgy, discovered in the field of alfalfa. That's a man's head.
Very matter of fact, you just keep going, "Gordon, that is a man's head." And it just, every time it gets more and more drawn out, like, that is a man's.
It's so forced.
I guess.
See, that's where Will Smith, I don't like him. Where he's like, "I'm doing my act." Like, ugh. I don't know. I'm not the greatest Will Smith fan, to be honest.
So I'm not either.
He's okay,
but
I don't hate him.
They
but
basically,
poor bastard. But honestly, I don't even know. I haven't really. It's so funny we're doing this episode. I haven't really thought about Will Smith. Because he's been a little bit in the news too much lately without doing anything.
Right.
Although I guess he just won an Oscar and some other stupid movie just came out.
I mean, 2 years ago at this point.
Whatever. But he really has been getting a drubbing in the public.
He has. He really. That's why
I wonder.
Even if that slap was planned in a certain way, I don't know if he had any indication. It would fucking. That will be with him the rest of his life.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, oh my God, that was so fake. Like, just like
I don't know if the only reason I don't believe it was, yes,
is the word.
I understand what you're getting at.
I don't mean like everyone. It was a fake.
No.
Like it wasn't real.
The moment that you think, oh, this is planned, because when Chris Rock like initially is like, oh, like it's gonna be a fun moment, and then he's kind of like,
but just yelling in the crowd. Not only does it seem out of character.
I don't know. I think the man is fucking nuts. I think that's the problem.
I do think he's nuts. I mean, with all the weird cuck shit and Scientology.
It's a little out there.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I was never a
dude. You got to watch Mulholland Drive.
Yeah,
everyone goes, "What's this movie about?" It's about I honestly think he's saying a lot, but he's hiding it in some esoteric stuff.
It's kind of like, I want to revisit The Player. I haven't seen that in a long time.
The Player is a little more straightforward. I honestly think David Lynch is probably going like, this is exactly how fucked up something. Yeah. This is exactly what happens, but I can't exactly tell you.
So they're able to, I guess, light a fire in this device, and it projects the image onto a screen, which they're then able to manipulate by putting glasses on the guy. And this feels like Scooby-Doo type shit, where it's like they're able, in the image, it's General McGrath holding the blade that killed him.
Yeah.
And they can see in his pocket, very conveniently facing the person, an invitation to a costume ball in New Orleans.
Yeah.
This is the stuff where I started to be like, okay, these are things as a kid my movie brain didn't think about. That's really stupid. It's really stupid.
Yeah, as a kid, you're like, oh, they put the glasses in front of them. That's clever.
You know what else is stupid? This is where you start to realize that, like, yes, Jim West, you should not go in there guns a-blazing. Artemis Gordon is like, hey, why don't you come as my manservant or this or that? And we get that forced, like, oh, yes, like, you know, it's just like, ugh, what are we...
It's an odd film, and like you said, $170 million, whatever, to make it. It's so clunky and obvious.
It is, yeah.
In the weirdest of ways.
It's like very, very like formulaic beats. I will say...
But yeah, why would, like...
Yeah, why would you try?
Post Civil War,
you're in the deep
in
south.
the South.
Yeah,
maybe not waltz in there.
maybe try to go a little bit like listen to Gordon and go in under disguise.
And then even then, he walks in and it's kind of no problem.
No one has a problem with it.
No
yeah.
one really cares.
Except Loveless, which is one of the best scenes in the movie when the two of them were trading barbs at
It's
that
okay.
costume party.
It's all right.
But
I don't mind it.
we should mention that this train that they're on, this very high tech train, there's all kind of gadgets.
The Wanderer.
And, yeah. The what's it called? Conductor is named Coleman, played by Emmett Walsh, who
The great.
he looks 90
Always.
then.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he now? Let me look up how old Emmett Walsh is. Because you one time, I remember you were like, if he's still alive, he must look like soup. That's a quote you made once. We were talking about. He's 88 years old.
What?
Yeah. So he was only like...
Dude, no, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's 88.
I would have thought you could have added 10 years to that.
Yeah. So
Looks
he's
like
just always looked
soup.
old.
Pretty good sometimes.
And what do you think of this scene with the feel my breast, touch my breast?
I kind of got a laugh out of me.
He sells it.
Yeah,
Emmett Walsh sells it.
Well, it's the last thing, too. There's like a last line where it's like...
I'm hard.
That, and I think it's like, well, now you touch me and I'll touch you while you're touching me.
He's like, now touch yourself.
Yeah,
And
yes,
he goes,
I think
he goes, ooh, I'm hard. And then he just looks up. Yeah.
Now that's what a breast is supposed to feel like.
Very nice.
Now touch yourself.
Oh my God, I'm hard.
I just love this first line when he first hears feel my breast. He just goes, I knew it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I don't mind a little gay panic. It's funny.
But
You know what it is?
Buckwheat.
It really got overdone. This movie's very emblematic of... It's so funny that it came at 99. Mm-hmm. At the end of a decade, at the end of a millennium.
Right.
At the end of a century, well, for film purposes, where it was just like too much budget, too weak a script, too many go to the well jokes,
Yep.
like mass of this and oh my
Yep.
God, are they gay? It's
Yeah.
like, dude, everything in this movie had been kind of done to
Did you
death.
read originally that Richard Donner was hired to do this with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
And they end up going to Maverick, which is a monumentally better movie.
Maverick rules.
It's
dude.
awesome.
Maverick's awesome.
And not only that, it is one of the best of these let's make a remake of an old TV show because it ties into that world without you knowing it.
Yeah.
That happens later in the movie. You realize that, oh no, he's his son. James Garner's in it. It's it pays tribute. It's perfectly cast. You get
Maverick
that.
should be. I don't even.
It's
I feel
fucking
like
great.
Maverick's
that
a
movie.
little forgotten.
When did we talk about that?
Probably with the comedy westerns.
Oh, the westerns. Yeah, we
and
should
stuff.
just fucking do that movie at some time. It's fucking great.
Well, you know what it is? Here's the other thing, too, because we have this awful title for our show, Almost Called Classics. Wild Wild West is kind of an almost called classic. It was a...
This could get midnight screenings and people would go and have a lot of fun with
it's
it.
a campy movie.
Yep.
And I think camp is a big thing when it comes to cult classics.
Dude, if you saw this movie today in a theater full of people that went in,
you'd be having a ball.
It would be a blast.
It'd be Rocky Horror.
Me watching it alone,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, this shit.
Yeah, dude, I have to say this. I was stone faced.
Yeah.
For like the first 50 minutes. I noticed it. I was like, dude, you have to move.
You didn't like him.
Nothing.
Sons of the South, the glory.
You know what it is?
Awful.
You know what kind of got a laugh at me? When they're going to hang him.
I think this is one of the best scenes in the movie.
And apparently it was like added. Like
you can tell it's very
they were
ad lib. It's not structured.
They were like, we need to get Will Smith to do some Will Smith shit here. But I thought that like where he's going, like the Africa line got me,
Dude,
where he's like, my people, the way they communicate where I'm from, and everyone's just looking at him, and he goes, Africa, and they're like, oh yeah.
Well, no, someone goes Georgia.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
crowd.
yeah.
And he goes Africa.
Funny.
It's really funny.
Funny.
So what happens is, they go to this costume party.
Yeah.
There is a woman who looks. She got a mask on. It's like a costume ball. So she looks like the woman that Kevin Kline has been disguising himself as. Kevin Kline, Artemis Gordon has gone as like a French trapper to this party. So James West doesn't know this. So he keeps coming up to this woman thinking it's Artemis Gordon.
Kind of funny how he keeps saying, like,
and
hey,
she's just like,
I think I know her general. We had to
after
go
he
here.
walks away, every time the woman takes her mask down and is like, oh. And
Meanwhile,
by the way,
meanwhile, this black man is running around this ball. Like it's just really.
I could be wrong, but I think this woman is also in Mouse Hunt. She's one of like those sisters that they pick up.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure she's one of those. She's really funny in that movie. But yeah, what happens is he ends up coming up to her at one point and just like, oh, before I get ahead of myself, he goes snooping around through this mansion, right? Will Smith, James West, whatever. he discovers that there's this room where there are henchmen hiding in the paintings, where they just, it's a cool thing, but were they just waiting for someone to walk into this room?
Utterly asinine, but it is cool.
It's cool, but at the same time,
visually, it's very good. When that guy moves and lowers his gun,
very cool.
It gives you a ho.
Not only that, it's testament to Sonnenfeld. James West starts shooting all around the room. You don't see what he's shooting at. He leaves the room. It's a long shot, a wide shot of the room. All the men fall out of the paintings, and then like a beat, and a guy falls from the ceiling. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah.
There's also this like
it's terrible in this logically.
This Miss West East character,
Biling.
What the fuck is what with that?
I love how she exists. Her character exists
West
just
meets East.
Yeah, just for that line.
It's the whole purpose of the characters in the movie. Also, like, you get a shot of her ass at one point. She like goes to sit down at the desk, and maybe it's a double. Who the fuck knows? But
not a double.
Very strange. And then I think his entrance in this scene is a lot of fun. Dr. Lovelace's entrance.
Oh, the Lincoln head.
The Lincoln head.
I think that's when my mouth moved.
Because it's him. He's tearing the fucking scenery apart.
Lincoln's head blowing up.
He goes, "Come on, don't you just hate that song?" And he comes out in this. To their credit, the wheelchair is a cool effect. The way they have shot it in a way where
and like the
things that spin.
Yeah.
And he comes up and meets with Jim West, and the two of them, it's like 8 puns back and forth about like, oh, it's always nice to see someone add color to these proceedings, and oh, don't you just? I'm sure a man like you can't keep in touch with half the people you know.
Haven't seen you in a coon's age. It's all right.
That whole thing comes back in their final scene together.
Ugh.
But anyway, I guess they find out what's going on at this party and where they're going to be next because they find Salma Hayek's character, who Lovelace surrounds himself with these women who are they prostitutes? I don't know. What are they just like? Because there's the one, Ammunitia. Is that her name?
Munitia. And then, no, I like the other one, though. It was because she was a lip reader. I think it was Mrs. Lippenreader or something. I literally said, I had to repeat it. He was like, oh, Miss Lippenreader, what are they saying? I was like, Miss Lippenreader.
Well, he comes up with all their names.
Amazonia was another one, the tall one.
Well, do you know when, later in the movie, when Will Smith appears in drag, he names her Abonia. Abonia, why are you so cruel?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's 1999.
Oh, my God.
Everyone was spent. They were...
So, by the way, speaking of Kenneth Branagh, I happen to... If you listen to the show, you'll know I've been on, like... It's taken me forever to watch everything Woody Allen's ever done, because there is a lot of duds in there. One of the ones I watched recently was Celebrity, which stars Kenneth Branagh doing a Woody Allen impression. Have you ever seen this movie?
No.
Dude, he is doing a Woody Allen impression the entire movie. He's just very, like... It's...
Oh, man,
you
I've
have
heard
to watch this
Celebrity
movie.
stinks.
You have to watch it, because he's the whole movie. He is doing Woody Allen. And
it's incredible.
The one thing I didn't expect was Donald Trump popping up in a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of like...
Mr. New York.
Yeah, you realize all these movies that were set in New York, it was like you want to have someone cameo. He was one of the guys.
The strangest thing about Trump is he's very, it rhymes, he's very Gump. Like, after he got elected, people started like, hey, remember this, remember that. I was like, holy fuck, this guy has been in, like, he's been in the consciousness way more than I realized.
Yeah, of course, because for me as a kid, it was like Little Rascals. He has the cameo in
Richie Rich.
Too. He's in Richie Rich?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
He should have been, though.
No, I'm thinking of
You're thinking of
Rascals. Yeah.
Anyway, but
why wasn't he in Richie Rich?
That should have been... Yeah, you would figure that would have been...
Come on.
You know, a board meeting or something.
What is this kid? Who is this kid I keep hearing about? All
right. But yeah.
We've hit our quota.
That's it. We had to mention Celebrity. I guess that McGrath wants weapons from Lovelace because he has been leading this troop of Confederate soldiers that lost or surrendered at a big battle.
Appomattox,
There's something going on there. They end up finding Salma Hayek. Well, Kevin Kline ends up finding her locked in a cage in this room, and she's claiming that her father is one of the kidnapped scientists. So they're going to work together. But before that happens, like we said, Jim West comes up with this woman he thinks is Gordon and goes, and by the way, boobies look great tonight, and taps on them, and that's when she
gets a laugh.
It's just a very, again, funny. When Will Smith is kind of talking his way out of trouble, that's always funny to me.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, And then we get
Or
this,
talking his way into trouble.
I like when he's like, "Will you marry me?" Okay, that's a no.
Yeah.
It's very funny stuff like
It's
that.
all right.
And then, would it help if I told you I thought you were a man? And then that faints. And kind of a fun escape scene with the rope that Gordon had given him is like elastic, so they're able to escape. And she agrees to help. I don't even know her character's name. Rita. She agrees to help them with the stipulation they'll take her along, which they decide not to do. This is another cool Sonnenfeld shot. The train's pulling out of the station where she's got her coat wrapped around, waving goodbye. It passes one window as Gordon's looking out. It gets to the other one. He's in a new pose, also looking at her. It was very cool. There is a few inventive shots in this movie.
It's funny, man. You get a giant budget, and you almost get hamstrung by it. Mm-hmm. Like, you think like, oh my God, you have all this money, you can do whatever you want. It's like, dude, it's mo money, mo problems.
So then we cut to the scene where, it's McGrath and Loveless and all these foreign ministers on this boat, and McGrath's men are on the shore expecting this weapons thing, and the tank comes out of the water. They should have used this fucking tank way more than it's in the movie. It comes out of the water.
You almost wonder, like, what the hell were they even
fuck was the
doing?
point of it? It mows down all the soldiers, and I guess Loveless is like, well, you surrendered, so why? This is your punishment. You're weak.
Was that what it was, or was it a demonstration of what he can do?
It was that, and he was also using it to. That's why he was killing them, though, was because McGrath's army surrendered and lost one of the battles.
Okay.
On the war, so. Then you also get this thing with New Liberty, where like Jim West's family was
it was like a slave
massacred.
camp,
Yeah, it was like a free slave state. That's the weird thing where, casting Will Smith, you obviously have to address slavery and things like that. And I don't know if that was something that really worked for this.
I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think you need to. Beyond a passing, like, or like the little...
A couple of mentions of it.
I know people get uptight about this shit. I certainly don't. But it's like, make light of it.
Yeah.
Like the little, but him and Loveless, like, trading little barbs. And he's a little racist.
That's really all it needs, yeah.
Like, you don't need to be like, well, that's actually not how it was post-Civil War for black people. It's like, this is a movie with a giant mechanical spider.
Right. You can't pick apart historical accuracy.
Here.
I agree.
No, it's stupid.
So, he not only does he kill all his men, he has a little, I guess, the ability to fire bolts from his wheelchair because he dumps McGrath, shoots him, dumps him out. At this time, they're able, because when he was in that office where the paintings were, Jim West shaded with charcoal a map knowing where they were going to be going. So they show up at this river after all the men had been killed. They find McGrath still alive somehow. He hasn't been killed. And I forget what he says. You've been looking forward to this reunion. Yeah, it's just...
I didn't kill them people. Loveless did. He had to get that little plot point out and then die.
So, they leave Rita at the train station. She somehow gets aboard the train. We're not really ever sure how. She just literally.
Oh, I assume she just jumped on the back or something.
And it's kind of a funny scene where Artemis Gordon is cooking, talking about how much he loves her body and everything, and she's just sitting there, and they're both pining for her at this point.
Yeah,
and this is where you have to get the scene of the girl's butt. That was like, especially in your 1999. It was like we were very big into like almost showing nudity. It was
the era of the side boob.
Yeah, side boob and butt crack. That was like the two things that always were in movies, and they take it. It's got a great butt.
Oh yeah, come on. She's an all timer.
And she's there's a couple things she does in this movie that make no fucking sense, which we'll get to it. My God. So there is a really cool scene where they're pursuing Loveless wherever he's going, because Rita, they figured it out where he's going to be. He has that tank raised above the train track. It's able to drop down. So it's a very kind of like Buster Keaton the General moment where they're pursuing it and then he's behind them. It's kind of cool. I wish they did more of that in this. And they get into this big train battle. At some point, Rita grabs one of the pool balls. She thinks they're going to be captured. I also think this is a pretty decent action sequence with Will Smith on the platform under the train, sliding back and forth.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. But what is her motivation in hitting... Is she trying to set them up? Did she genuinely want them killed? She hits the pool button on the pool ball, and the gas comes out and knocks everyone out.
No, I don't think she knew.
So, but why did she... They're supposed to be explosives, so she thought she was killing them? Did she know she was knocking them out? It really makes no sense. Also, how did she know that they were explosive?
I mean, if I can't piece it together, then I'm going to just agree with you that it didn't make any sense.
She's like, I can't go back. I won't let them take me. And she grabs the pool ball, which I don't know if she
maybe it was just, I have to survive. I don't care about anyone else.
Well, she was going to kill all of them. She didn't know it was poison gas. She thought it was an explosive. So it's like, was she working for them? Was this planned? Because then we cut to a scene of her on the train with Loveless. And she's like, I did it because I missed you and I just wanted to be back with you. It's really fucking deluded.
I must have zoned out here.
Anyway, yeah, she knocks them all out and they wake up in this magnetic, I don't know, cage or whatever they're in with the collars that the guy in the beginning had on. And it's this thing where it's like Jim West is supposed to be this guy who's like practical and smart, just instantly steps out of the thing. Yeah.
No one would say, okay, wait a second.
Yeah. Let's think about this.
It's that kind of shit, man, where it's just like, all right, dude.
So, yeah, he steps outside of this ring that they're in. It activates this machine that shoots these big saw blades out that follow the collar. Which, again, couldn't you just, like, lay down and fuck up the trajectory? Like, why?
Could you move the pen? Like, the thing was just nailed into the ground, the little pen they're in. You could just carry it.
Again, if they would have just stopped and thought about this.
Anything.
It's just a big excuse to get a scene where the two of them are running through a cornfield, of course, being chased by these things. And they then end up jumping into what looks like a pool of chocolate pudding. It does not look like mud.
I was very confused as a kid.
What it was? Or
yeah, I was like, what did they land? Like,
it doesn't look like mud.
Initially,
you
think it's shit.
Yeah.
You're like, is it supposed to be shit? It's not. It's clay? Mud? I don't know.
It's something. And they get in their big spat here because, he says, Gordon, can you take these things off? You're the master of this mechanical stuff. Like, oh, I am the master of the mechanical stuff. It's like, I like when the two of them are at least, like, doing something. And, yeah, we get a scene where the two of them then have to figure out ways. They're talk again about that gay panic where you're getting the belt caught on the,
Yeah, physical. I look at that more as physical comedy.
I guess.
I don't know.
And then two of them end up, all right, I'm going to run this way, you run that way. It is, again, cool shot. Yeah, they come drifting back, knock into each other, fall into a pool. And then Gordon's like, oh, look, there's my my toolkit. I forgot about that.
That was like, a groaner. Another one. That's like, oh, convenient. It's the kind of shit that just annoys you in a movie. You're just like, oh, okay.
This is a scene that's also, I'm like, what the fuck is this? The two of them, they're walking through the desert. They find, before they find this secret railway track, that we have like your classic campfire scene where Jim West is eating a lizard. What the fuck?
Caught a lizard.
It comes out of nowhere. It's like, because again, you're supposed to be like, the way the character types are, that would have been something that Artemis would have done.
I see what you're saying.
Like Artemis, they're actually very nutritional and they're good for you. And the fact that we do like this weird, like, oh, of course, it's like, Jim West would be the one to do it. It just doesn't make any.
They didn't pick a tone for him.
No,
it's just sometimes he's Will Smith, sometimes he's not, sometimes he's Jim West, sometimes he's this other thing.
And this is where Jim West discusses his family being at New Liberty, sets up the backstory that he has this personal history with Loveless and McGrath and all this stuff. And this is also a groaner. It's like, see that spider? Oh, here comes a wasp. You're oh, fuck, they're going to come back to this. Like that foreshadowing thing where they end up getting...
terrible.
It's really not good. It's really lazy.
Yeah.
It was shockingly lazy.
Yeah.
They see a tarantula crawling on the ground and a wasp. And he's like, what's that wasp doing? Oh, to see the wasp is going to lay its eggs in it and keep it. It's like... it's so much. It's weird.
You
how
really
much
are checked out. It's funny. You're checked out by the end because I honestly forgot that. Like when they're flying in, I'm like, yeah. It's funny that you bring that up. I totally was just like,
you forgot it ever happened.
I'm like a minute after that. I'm like, why the fuck was I seeing that bug?
Yeah, they find this private track the next day because Gordon's still holding onto this collar for some reason, and it leads to essentially this town that he has built. Loveless has built, and this is where we get the spider reveal, which. It is stupid. It's just, it's again, no one would be able to stand straight up on this thing, especially the guy in the wheelchair. It would not work.
I guess, too, we should mention that President Grant was in the area for the Transcontinental Railroad.
To commemorate.
Sure.
And they end up taking him, not before, they actually kidnap both him and Gordon because Gordon disguises himself and they take both of them.
Yeah.
Will Smith gets shot, and we find out that he, unbeknownst, had chainmail sewed into his suit without noticing that. Rips it open like, oh, thank you, Gordon. Because he ends up putting this knife in his boot
Yeah.
Gordon puts a knife in Jim. It's like a little kick, and the knife comes out, and he has an offhand comment of like, "That's not the only thing I did." He says something like that.
Oh,
so it's like, but like, what you would feel that makes no sense.
God,
but
I forgot about the town he built.
He built a town,
and like they're all like that's the spider. Oh my God.
So Jim West survives being shot and falling from the spider, and goes back to their train, and is like, "I need a plan here." And this is where we get this scene with Abonia, which this sounds like the name of the character in Nothing But Trouble. Aldona.
Yeah.
He is
really. I mean, I haven't seen a fucking movie stop in its tracks like this in a while. It is talk about slamming on the brakes.
But there's so many. It raises so many questions. Like, how does the music start playing?
That's what immediately got me.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's there, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Aren't you taking over the country?
Yeah.
You don't even have a penis. What's going on here?
The thing is that he's holding everyone hostage with this weapon because he blows up that town. Which, by the way, that town he blows up with the spider when he has the president, there's a building that says Kasdan Iron Works. And I was like, no. Did Lawrence Kasdan write this movie? I don't know if that's just they were like paying tribute to him or something.
I think with Silverado and everything,
Yeah.
I think they were just putting a little. And not only that, I think someone's wearing Hudsucker.
Oh, really?
Train workers are like Hudsucker.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just like, not only that, right? There's a scene happens where a villain we're supposed to believe is actually pretty practical and smart is completely fooled by this. Like, ooh, you're surprising me. And he's like...
Yeah,
then,
it's an absolute, you're ejecting everything.
For some reason, let's break down everything wrong with this scene. Lovelace has the handcuff keys conveniently dangling on a hook on his wheelchair to easily be grabbed off by Jim West.
Which he does.
In
full view
of everyone else there.
Everybody.
The foreign ministers, all those people. Then, for some reason, the bra he's wearing starts to shoot fire out of the nipples. And it's like... Wait a minute. Like, can someone...
And isn't that what gives him up?
Yeah. Because they start to spin.
Now
like
that
the
this
tassels.
person has appeared on the mechanical spider in the middle of the desert.
I do like that right before this happens, there's a funny moment where Grant's refusing to surrender to the United States. And there's actually he pulls out a map, and it's basically like the U.S. is going to be divided up between France, Mexico, Spain, and Great Britain. And then like the top half is just going to be like loveless country. Yeah. And he's like, the president's refusing to sign over. He's like, all right, I'm just going to start killing your men we have here. And Artemis Gordon's like, don't worry, I'm wearing a bulletproof. And he's like, the only request that you shoot me in the heart because I love this country so much. He's like, shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. But then, of course, the scene is just, all of a sudden you hear, and it's just like the music starts and it's like...
It's shocking.
Ebonia, why are you so cruel to me?
I mean, like, look, as we've said, this movie's not as bad as it's made out to be. This is like one of the worst scenes, like
it is
ever.
It is,
dude.
This happens in Ernest Goes to Africa. The same like Ernest disguises himself
Does
as a belly
dancer.
dancer.
More sense?
Well, because it's an Ernest movie, so you're like,
dude, it's like not only that, like you can,
dude, it really is like.
You,
there's countless like Three Stooges shorts where like Curly's dressed as a woman and they're like, and the villain is just like, oh, hello, look at you. Like they don't, it works in that environment.
Classic trope.
In this movie, it's so jarring and out of place.
Even if you had a little setup
My
here, like
God.
like Loveless
has a thing for black chicks or something where you could.
He's got a harem. Of like, oh, we picked up some new girls on the way.
Something to connect these two pieces.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
The appearance is baffling. I mean, you got to be Sonnenfeld or whoever sitting there at a screening after your first cut with your head in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Like, I'm going to be,
This is fucked.
We're going to be,
this is going to be fucked.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, after this, like, who gives a shit? Like, it really does.
Fucking Alan Smith, he did. It's just
it
like.
It takes the air out of the movie.
It, like, pun intended, it runs out of steam. It's after this point, it's just like. So, he ends up freeing Gordon and Rita and everyone, but he still has the president. And this is where they come back to like, oh, remember that wasp that laid on the tarantula? Like, well, was it Da Vinci who was working on a flying machine? He didn't finish it. This is where this scene starts to happen. They build this flying bicycle contraption. They're going to go and Emmett Walsh gives them like nitro the drop on it. They're going to go save the president and all that. And this is such a grown moment for me when he's like, what are you going to call this thing? You know, and he's like, I'm thinking Air Gordon. It's just...
Yeah, it's a groaner, man.
I'm sure as a kid I was probably like, yeah, I get it. Space Jam. So they fly this machine to the spider. The president's still refusing to surrender, so this is where Loveless destroys this town. They end up landing on the spider, and Munitia is killed. They push her right off the thing.
Push her off.
And Jim West lands like in the lower, or they drop him down the lower part.
Boy.
So now all of a sudden, I guess Loveless has mutants that can fight for him.
Apparently.
This comes out of nowhere.
Do you know why it's there? Well, because someone realized...
They didn't even get action figures, these guys.
Well, that is... I figured the guy with the head would have
He should have got an action figure.
But someone realized they're like... He's just throwing these other women off the fucking spider.
Right.
He's not fighting anyone.
No,
he needs
we
to
need to
fight
have someone in the fight.
They need to get some horrendous lines in this
Horrendous.
scene.
Awful lines. Awful puns. Did you write some down?
I couldn't believe it. And this just got an audible like, oh! Like, what?
I hope it's the same one I wrote down.
Is it No More Mr.
Yes.
Knife Guy?
Yeah.
No More Mr. Knife Guy. In the year of our Lord 1999,
Someone, yeah.
Will Smith is delivering the line, No More Mr. Knife Guy. Fucking horrendous.
There is kind of one funny moment in this scene when fucking Christ, so stupid though. A man comes in with sword hands, and he starts like, and he kicks the knife out on the boot, just goes and kicks it around a little bit. It's kind of funny.
That's kind of funny.
But then it's like,
then there's the other guy, just horrible.
The fucking guy who like, I learned that from a Chinaman.
I learned that from a Chinaman, and then Jim West hits him in the face with the shovel, and he goes, "I just made that up."
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just, but it's just like
Christ.
it keeps happening. There's like 5 different guys come in, and then
it's really
to
horrible.
kick it all off, this Frankenstein monster guy comes in with a metal head.
Yeah.
What the fuck happens here? How does he? This guy just short circuits and dies?
Oh, what did happen there?
What is that? He raises like a sledgehammer or something above his head, and just all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, he just shorts
and he
out.
falls off the fucking. The one guy, he is able to like. I think it's the sword guy. He ties a chain around his neck and kicks him off the thing, which ends up saving him later.
Fine.
And then that's when Loveless is like, I guess I'll do it myself, and goes down there. And if this fucking action figure didn't spoil it, it would have been kind of a cool moment.
Yeah.
But why the fuck wasn't he just walking around like this to begin with? Why was
it peters out real quick.
It does.
Like, he becomes the Spider-Man, and then he hits
Here's
like a
another thing.
hydraulic valve or
here's another
something.
thing.
Just over.
Here's a fucking other thing. When they go back to the train, they discover that all of the guns have been taken except one of Artemis Gordon's hidden little belt guns. So Artemis has that. When Loveless goes down into the bottom of this spider, he fights him. It's very brief. It really isn't done very long, but the spider legs come out. He's fighting Jim West. Artemis Gordon gains control of the spider, and he has the gun pointed down. You would just shoot him in the head. Yeah. Why not? Why are you chancing it, hoping that hitting one of these legs is going to leak the hydraulic fluid? It's going to work. It's just dumb.
Wow, you're right. Just put a bullet in his head.
Just put a bullet in his head. He's like, you missed.
Oh, did I? Oh, no. I know why. Artemis Gordon doesn't want to kill anyone.
Oh.
Isn't he like kind of a pacifist?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
But even in this scene, Kenneth Branagh is just fucking chewing things up. At one point, he calls, I wrote it down, he calls Jim West, "You fine dark warrior."
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, right. What are we doing?
And then the two of them end up kind of hanging off the back of this spider as it's hanging over a cliff.
Yeah.
And of course, Mr. West, you on the inside, you on the outside, you're as dark as the night, but on the inside, you are yellow. It's like, we're still doing this. It's the end of the fucking movie.
I know.
And he ends up pulling the switch. He falls to his death. Jim West is able to hang on to the body. He kicked off the fucking spider earlier. We get this moment.
He gets another one-liner.
What?
I think it's like, now that's a whooping. It's so fucking stupid. Dude, it's not even like punchy or anything.
You know
like,
what?
it's just like, it's almost like him saying like, I just killed you and I won.
I was half expecting when he comes out with the spider legs, Will Smith to go, "I've got to get me one of those." It's classic, just go all out. Just, Ugh. I read real quick, while we're discussing this, critical review. This is Todd McCarthy with Variety, and he says the larky, lightly irreverent tone established by Sonnenfeld and his platoon of screenwriters is neither serious enough for any true emotions to take hold, nor nearly outrageous enough for wild, surprising comedy to result. Which I tend to agree with. They
can't pick a side.
Right.
It's weird.
And it sucks because there are parts of both of those tones that really work here.
There's a good movie in here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's kind of a moment where we set up a sequel where the Secret Service is formed now. I'll see you boys back in Washington.
Love the idea.
And this is another weird fucking moment, right? Rita reveals that the scientist is not her.
Actually, it's not my father.
You
It's
could
my
have been
husband.
honest. It's not. They would have still helped you. What the fuck?
Shit.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
then
dumb.
he comes over and goes, "Rita, we must be going." Doesn't even thank them.
Doesn't thank
He
them.
doesn't acknowledge them.
What a fucking ungrateful asshole.
He doesn't even acknowledge them.
You're so right. He doesn't. He barely looks at them.
Bye. And then, yeah, kind of an okay shot where you think they're on the horses at the end, and we pan out and they're on the spider.
Sure.
It's all right. And
Maybe
then,
he was just like, now I'm thinking he's just like, stay the fuck away from my wife,
Yeah.
you two creeps.
yeah,
You're right, though. It's.
they put me in long johns, and the one always dressed like a woman, and
He said I was a breath of fresh air.
like, I'm not thanking them. And Lord, you know,
you know, Loveless had a point.
You also we should say, even at the very end of this movie, it's not over yet, because then we get the Wiki Wiki Wild West song, which, what can you say?
Dude, you couldn't get away from this shit.
No.
It was, this is
Because Men in Black has it too, right? Has a Will Smith rap song at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what annoys me about both these songs? They're both like, you know, have your argument, whatever you want with sampling or whatever. They're like 1-to-1 versions of the songs they're sampling. He
Right.
just switches up some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's so annoying, dude. Like,
And the one thing this movie does not need is a fucking hip hop track over the end credits.
it's a huge song.
I know, but it should have been that.
Did you ever see the, it's some shitty MTV award show. They do like the stage.
yeah.
And Stevie Wonder came out. It's his song. I think it's I Wish. And he's playing the piano. Wild West. Right? Performance ends. And it's great, too, because like Will Smith is like, he's dressed as Jim West doing like cowboy dance moves. So stupid.
It's so embarrassing.
But the song ends. Everyone leaves the stage. And no one gets Stevie from the piano. He's just sitting in the dark on the stage. You can watch this right on YouTube. It's so funny. Eventually, somebody comes up and goes, "Stevie, get off the stage."
It's one of either two of your favorite people, Patton Oswalt or David Cross. I think it's Patton Oswalt, was like writing for the MTV Movie Awards that year and tells a story about like Will Smith was just surrounded by an entourage of people. Like he couldn't get away. You know, that was just his life at this point.
Oh, for sure.
And you know what? You discussing this movie, it makes no fucking sense. There's some as you said, this is an almost cult classic.
It's a midnight movie. You
need to fucking screen this movie on like
you couldn't try.
To do it.
It wouldn't work.
No.
Like we're gonna make it campy and like
if they fucking
stupid.
I'm fucking calling for, if anyone is like a programming manager, an independent cinema, play this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And
raucous crowd.
Ryan and I will come and we'll fucking. It has all the fucking beats to be one of those just laughably kind of bad, dude. Like you're saying, those awful puns at the end with the knife stuff.
The one-liners are hurt. Like
they would fucking play so well with an audience that's just ready to watch something bad.
Well, ready to like every line. It's just an egg lay. Like especially that last one was like, now that's a whooping.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're hanging on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe this is the time for this. Perfect. In a
and
sense.
we're 25 years removed from this movie now.
Hey.
The timing is fucking right. Like, I really do think this movie could get a level of, you know, I mean, because it does win a ton of fucking Razzies, which Robert Conrad shows up to accept, which I always
pretty
love.
great, yeah.
And it just takes a critical fucking beating because it does open #1. I mean, and that's pretty huge for, you know, July 4th weekend.
I was there probably opening weekend, I'd imagine.
And then, so by July 9th, it falls to second place. It bounces back into first the next day, but just bad word of mouth just buries the fucking movie. I mean, it drops drastically. You know, it really starts, because it was fucking reviled. Like, this is probably on those lists of the worst movies ever made, wouldn't you say?
Easily. And it's totally hyperbolic.
Yeah, of course.
It's bad. It's a bad movie, but it's not. And like I said, this was definitely, it was emblematic.
Mm-hmm.
It got such a bad reputation because it was the bloat of the 90s.
Right.
There's the hackneyed writing, the stupid, like, chemistryless pairing.
The marketing, the toys, everything. Of just like, we're going to make this movie so big, and it's going to try to be big. And you know what I have to respect is that the majority of people involved move on and are able to find success outside of it. You know, I mean, Will Smith keeps growing and doing new things. Kevin Kline, obviously, and Sonnenfeld, like, he doesn't really let it deter him. You think he never bounces back from
look
this?
at the output here. It's film-wise, it's not great.
What is it? Give a rundown.
Well, right after this is Big Trouble, which is a huge flop. He had to go back to Men in Black 2. And there's RV with Robin Williams, which looked like a goofy family movie. Fine, whatever. Not for me. Men in Black 3, and then 9 Lives.
Fuck, it did ruin his career.
Yeah, I kind of
like he fucking bounced back.
He's doing TV shit. It's not, he works. It's not like he also did Lemony Snicket, which I didn't see. I heard it was
he didn't. He did the TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
He was trying to do the movie. I think every one of those situations. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for him.
I like his stuff.
Yeah.
I like how he shoots.
I do too.
I think he's
he was the totally like.
There's a lot of he uses that wide angle lens beautifully.
He does. But this movie definitely needed a fall guy. You know, like, who do you blame? It's usually the director at times like that. But
a lot of blame to go around on this one, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But honestly,
funny thing is, everyone kind of accepts their blame too.
Yeah,
everyone's pretty honest about this.
It's one of those movies where everyone seems to have like a decent, like, they're able to look back and laugh on it now relationship with.
Like, even John Peters, I think, was just like, I saw something was just like, maybe I kind of fucked up there.
Well, this is like, you have a lot of people being very egotistical about where they were at in their careers, and it kind of shows on the screen. That being said, I recommend it. You know what? Don't fucking sit there by yourself and watch it. You know, grab a couple friends if no one's ever seen it. Have some drinks and watch this movie.
Don't not watch it if you haven't seen it. Like, oh, it's the worst movie ever. Like, it's a spectacle.
Yeah,
it's something. Yeah, it is something.
It's one of those things you're like, I'm glad I was there to witness this movie kind of happening.
I think, dude, it was so oversaturated, though. I think people wanted it to fail. I don't think it had a chance because, dude, everyone was fucking tired of this.
Yeah.
You have to understand, too, this is somewhat before the internet was... The internet's taken over everything.
Yeah.
Right? So you had things where... the shared experience was easier for people to have.
Yeah.
So you'd listen to the radio. You couldn't get away from that fucking song. So all summer you're hearing this song everywhere you go. Yeah. You're just tired of it. Yeah. So now the movie comes out. Wait, it's not that good? Fuck that movie. Yeah. It's the worst fucking movie ever. I'm glad that movie failed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, people were ready to hate it, like you said, because you also had, this was back when 60s TV was getting a lot of reruns. So you had people very angry that a beloved property like The Wild Wild West was being remade. And now it's at a point where it's like, it's just we're ironically enough at the point in time we're at now is equal distance from when the TV show to when this was made. So
wild.
You really do fucking start to lose just like, you know, like frame of reference, and things just get forgotten.
For sure.
Every 20 years a new fucking, you know, wave comes in of people who, like, you know, people barely probably remember this, younger people. They're not going to fucking remember the TV show.
No.
So that's why I'm like, you know what, this movie is such an interesting time capsule into this world when these movies were still being made, these hyped up, like, massive, because that's the thing. Like, nowadays, a marketing campaign like this would only exist for something like a superhero movie. You have to kind of commend them that they took this fucking 60s TV show and were like hyping it up so much. Of like, you don't see fucking that type of hype behind a movie anymore.
Well,
that's not a Marvel or DC or...
Well, even with those, I don't know if it's possible to the level. It's like what I was talking about is that you can't saturate it like you used to. You hit TV commercials, you hit radio. Mm-hmm. That's what everyone watches.
True, yeah.
I haven't watched network TV in probably close to a decade. Like, to put on like Fox or ABC and watch a show. Like,
right.
I can't recall the last time I've done that.
I thought you were tuning into Young Sheldon. I thought that was appointment TV for you.
I catch it on streaming later. But that's how, like, I bring it up all the time. You're like, oh, I saw this new movie. I'm like, I didn't even fucking hear of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not reaching me. Because I'm disconnected. Now, everyone's got their own connection now, whereas in the past, it was, you went to the radio or the TV. And
you also got Burger King, and, you know,
Yeah.
I love I'll recommend our listeners look it up. The commercial for the Burger King toys. I guess Burger King was, like, trying to advertise, like, big kid meals, where it's like, you're not a fucking child anymore. Let's be real. You don't want fucking toys with your meal.
The Burger King.
There's a big kid meal. Yeah, there's a big kid meal. Let's. This is for adults, because they were trying to get away from like that Happy Meal McDonald's shit of like, please, the big kids.
Oh, it's too good.
So it was definitely one of those things where being around when this movie was coming out was a huge deal, and I'll always have a different perspective on it because of that.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that if you're just looking for some friends to watch just a bad movie with, it's and there's enough there where you'll have fun with it. It's not boring.
No.
It's not. That's the biggest crime
It doesn't
bad
drag.
movies commit.
You're
It's like it's just
100%.
boring and nothing happening. It's a movie where you'll just fucking have to go, wait, what? What was that? What was that line? You'll rewind. You'll have a fucking good time with it. And yeah, I recommend it for that reason alone.
I don't know if it's possible to make a disaster like this anymore.
No. Certainly
Things
not
are so
an investment financially
yeah,
that
they
was
go
required.
through I mean, not that this didn't, but like
Maybe like Cats, something like that would be a good example.
That's one I could
Probably
think
the last
of.
one we had.
Yeah, like because even like the superhero movies, like they're coming out of a fucking machine in my opinion. Like they're not
manufactured.
Yeah, like I heard that new Aquaman's a piece of garbage, but like who cares?
Right at this point, yeah.
It's not a special disaster like this.
No.
It's just your run of the mill piece of garbage.
This is one of those rare fucking everything going wrong.
Yeah,
but it just being enjoyable to watch for that reason. And
yeah, it really is. You're right.
We are going to talk about. He follows up Wild Wild West with Big Trouble, right? Before Men in Black 2?
I believe so, yes.
So that's going to be, because that's a real return to form for him, I think.
I felt like it was.
And then we were talking about what we were going to do next, and same year as 1999, another movie that I think was hyped up that just didn't land, that I also haven't seen in 20 years.
And I was hyped for this.
We'll be talking about Mystery Men.
Yep.
Which, haven't seen it in a long time, but I know I had the VHS. I know I had the action figures. I'm not going to dig them out for the episode.
Jesus Christ. You said the same year?
Yeah.
I was such a fucking... My imagination
99.
as a kid, I was such a LARPer. And like, we're doing this. We're going to play Indiana Jones today. And Men in Black. I was obsessed with... I didn't carry it around.
Forks around with you?
No, a shovel.
Oh.
I loved
you were the William H. Macy.
Was it the shoveler?
The Digger or something his name is. We're going to have a lot of fun with that, I think.
Yeah, it was...
And Paul Rubens is the one that just farts.
Yep.
You got Kel Mitchell thing. He's invisible. The bowler. I remember a lot to
By the way, I think I heard someone recently. It may have been. Well, Harry Shearer's been on his apology tour for the past couple of years, apologizing for his talent. Essentially,
what does that mean?
Well, a poo.
Oh,
he has to apologize.
Wait, that was Hank Azaria.
What did I say? Harry Shearer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's apologizing for something.
Okay.
No, just kidding. For he made that movie, The Teddy Bear's Picnic. You ever hear about that?
No.
It's a movie where you're familiar with Bohemian Grove,
yeah.
To jump back into conspiracy world, he made a movie essentially about that.
Oh God!
But it's a comedy, and I've heard it's terrible. But I really want.
I remember kind of liking him in Mystery Men because his whole character.
I was talking about Harry Shearer.
Oh, okay.
But Hank Azaria, he did a poo. He's been crying on camera about that for a few years now, but he does like the Raj or whatever.
Yeah,
remember it's like faintly.
Yeah, and he throws forks.
I think he had to apologize for that too.
But I remember the funny thing being is like he plays it that way, but then he goes home. It's like Ma, like he's got a mother he lives with. It's kind of funny.
I think it'll hold up. We'll see.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about there. It's a
By
movie.
the way, it's totally. I caught a clip of The Simpsons recently.
Oh God, it's unwatchable,
dude. Honestly, at this point, like I've said this before, there's enough bad seasons that it's a bad show now.
Right.
I don't even know if the old shit holds up. I'm starting to question
it's also being written by people who were like born like into the bad years of the show.
Julie Kavner, man.
Yeah.
Like here's ready.
Homer, I'm concerned about art.
I saw this clip. It was
They
Lisa.
Marge. I think we need to go. Dude, meanwhile, and it's like it must have been the Treehouse of Horror. It's like this. Bart gets turned into an NFT. It's like, I'm like, was the show always this fucking on the nose, like with the jokes and I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's totally different writers.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, it's not John Swartzwelder
by
any means, but I was stunned.
Yeah.
I was literally.
I still want to do that movie at a certain point.
What?
The Simpsons movie.
Absolutely not. No, I'm vetoing that right off the bat. No, I was thinking about this recently. I'm like, that movie's not even. There's nothing even there.
You know what? Speaking of joke theft and joke copying, we talked about that a little bit last time. You know that gag in the Simpsons movie where they draw like mustaches on the wanted poster, and then a family comes in that looks exactly like that?
Is that a Simpsons gag?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was watching clips of, I think it was Wrongfully Accused, and the same thing happens. Leslie Nielsen sees a picture of himself, and I think that predates it, but whatever. It shows that gags are all recycled.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But
you got to put your spin on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. We're going to talk about Mystery Men, and we're going to keep these mics rolling on Patreon to talk about Big Trouble and some other things Sonnenfeld did. So thank you so much for checking out this episode, and to those of you who support us on Patreon, we'll see you over there.
Thanks for listening.
One love and sound,